Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to WOR here for the season finale at Jeddah, where obviously last week we saw Uppbeat take the championship in quite good form. He obviously got fourth place, and with that battle at the end between Ishmael and Luke, obviously gave him the championship. And tonight, Lewis, we've got a very good track, we've got a very good grid. This race should be quite a good one.
Very good track is a questionable thing. We'll come back to that, I'm sure, in a moment. I'm not a huge fan of it, but at least of all of the new circuits, it can be quite fun to lap around and does generally provide some pretty exciting racing. So it should be a fun one. Obviously, Saudi Arabia season finale, when all the championships kind of ended, it means it's just you versus the track and trying to prove yourself to end the season with a victory.
Of course, and we're about to get started very shortly, so we'll take a quick look at the results from last race, and you can see them on your screen. It was Luke Smith who took victory there, 21 thousandths ahead of Ismail Fassi and Ruben Progenio, rounding out the top three. Brilliant race from those three. Then we can take a look at the standings quickly, and we can see Uppbeat, who's at the top of them, unfortunately not here tonight. I believe he's ill. Then Ismail Fassi in second, and Thomas Ronhart, obviously big get well soon to him. Had a crash in his karting race recently, so he won't be taking part. So, Lewis, the championship standings are still relatively close.
Yeah, there are still various positions that are up for grabs. That's the important bit. So there's plenty of reason for these drivers not to come into this and just chill too much. They're still going out there for the victory, obviously.
Of course, and we might as well have a quick look at the track bin, as we're only about 10 seconds away from getting in towards Q1.
Yes, indeed. Of course, fairly new circuit, 2021. It came about, has a lot of corners all the way around, 6.1 or 6.2 kilometers all the way around. Really tricky. Great overtaking opportunities down into T1, down into T27. Christ alive. I actually think Turn 13 is one of the best tracks in modern motorsport.
Yeah, I think this is a nice circuit. I know many people disagree, but the racing we can have, despite it being very fast and being against walls, tends to be quite good. Now, that might be because we're in sim racing and there's no real risk of sending a move at 170 miles an hour when you're close to a wall. But I genuinely think the racing here will be brilliant. We've seen it many times in the past, and we're about to head in towards the qualifying one session where we've got 20 very quick drivers. 5 of them obviously go out here in Q1, 5 go out in Q2. We could definitely see some surprise exits here.
Yeah, indeed. Like you say, it's always the way with this knockout qualifying, as we see, obviously in Formula One, etc., etc. You've got to get your banker laps in. You've got to pace yourself throughout the race. You've got to pace yourself through qualifying. This is the first stressful moment that I will say around here. I think it is a circuit you can work your way up the order on, despite it being a street circuit.
Yeah, indeed. I think it's if you go for a bit of a different strategy, taking that undercut, you can kind of get yourself a little bit high because you pitted early, got the better tyres, and you managed to gain in. You can then just try and defend, which on this game it's quite easy to do if you don't always do it in the most ethical way, which I think many of these drivers have kind of mastered that skill. And we can see there Barry Burman has retired, which makes me believe he will be wanting to start from the back of the grid. And normally, Lewis, we will see this. It's near the end of the season. Many drivers will be here just looking to try and, try and do something new, start at the back and try a different strategy.
Yeah, it's always the thing with a season finale is that you can, if you've not got anything else to fight for championship-wise, or even if it's only for a slightly lower position of the championship, you can take those kind of risks to go out there and have a more enjoyable race. So typically what we see with the Ironman League as well, where a lot of these drivers just basically bail from qualifying. They want to start at the back, although not this season because we don't do qualifying. They want to start at the back because it's the most entertaining way for them to do so. Was I believe Otis Lawrence is about to start his lap on the delightful intermediates.
Indeed, we'll see what Otis can do here as he heads down towards turn 1, and we know that the intermediate tyres, these lap times mean absolutely nothing unless you crash and you need to rely off of having a lap time. But I really don't think that matter at all. So we'll see what Otis can do. Obviously, on this opening lap, the intermediate tyres a lot of less grip around the track, which already is quite low on grip. So these lap times will be even slower than they would around other circuits. So we can just see him heading through the SC section, which is it's one of those parts of the track where on the first lap all the drivers go into there, one crash happens and 10 cars end up getting collected. So the one thing we've got to hope is that on that first lap, they all make it through sector 1 fine. They can cause the carnage after that, but please keep their messy section clean, because that is the last place we want to see a car going round.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I have commentated on a race earlier today where about 5 or 10 laps into the race, they all decided to bin it at the top of Mount Panorama, which was entertaining, if a bit messy. Around here, like you say, because of the the high-speed nature of the circuit, because of how narrow it is, kind of between the walls. If there is a crash, it typically doesn't just involve 1 or 2 cars. It does generally take the pack, although that's why ghosting exists. So who knows?
Yes, ghosting exists, but we're on an we're on an F1 EA game. It doesn't always tend to work as intended.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So we'll see what these next laps can bring. Otis just heading towards the end of the final sector. He will set his time and he goes onto the board with a 1:30.233. Then we have a few more cars on track. I'm on board with Ruben Pedronio as he heads down in towards turn 13. Didn't do many races this season. I think it was his third race last time out. Didn't get many points until he got that podium, which he did in fine fashion. Taking a different strategy, let all those behind battle and cruise to a P3. One more lap, it could have been a P1 for him. So we'll see, Lewis, what he can do here tonight. Hopefully, back into the top 10.
Yeah, is indeed the 4th race that he's done this season. Did retire from the first one back in Brazil, and then didn't score any points. But still, like I say, getting a podium in the penultimate race of the season does generally build confidence for the final one. That said, these lap times at the start of the session, I'm not sure how representative they are. You always see these sessions get faster and faster, and let's be honest, nailing a lap on intermediates is not ideal. Although I will say, from a technical perspective, they are softer than the softs, so at least there's that.
Well, there's that, but they mean absolutely nothing. So I suppose you could make that into an argument if you're a driver, but I don't think it will. I don't think many people will really agree with you if that's the case.
No, scientifically speaking, they are. They're just not quicker. They are softer because even the full wets are the softest in the range.
So why are you a commentator if you know so much about tyres? Why don't you become a tyre engineer?
Oh no, I just pay attention.
So you're trying to say I don't? Okay, all right. No, that's fine. That's fine. Well, we can see obviously everyone heading back in towards the pit lane, and surprisingly, only 5 drivers went out on a set of the intermediates, which means they all have faith in their equipment today. Which on some of the tracks, for some reason, they don't, and you see the whole grid go out on the intermediate. So we'll see them head back in. Then around that 10-minute mark, we'll see them head out back again on a set of the soft tyres, which aren't the softest compound. I'll let you know that it's not the softest, according to Lewis. It's the intermediates followed by the wets, then the softs.
It's true.
But,
why do you think the wets overheat in the dry?
Because they're not made for dry conditions. Well,
because they're softer.
Okay, yeah, and they're grooved. I don't know what that does. I don't know anything about grooved tyres.
What do you mean you don't know anything about grooved tyres? What do you think the grooves are there? Oh my goodness me! Woo! The grooves are there to clear. So when you get the spray, right? That's because the grooves. What they're doing is they're taking a channel of water from the road, they're throwing it up in the air. But what they're really doing is they're clearing it so that the water has somewhere to go when the tyre makes contact with the road. So that your tyres aren't necessarily making contact with the water, of course they are, but they're making contact with the road surface itself. So effectively, they're trying to dry the road surface and give the water somewhere to go. That's what the channels are there for. So, whereas the wets have more channels than the intermediates.
What we're also saying is we actually hope we have a wet generator so we can see it live.
Well, I mean, you just think about it.
Because it'd be nice to have a wet Jeddah. It happened once before in, I think it was WOR Tier 2 or something, 3 seasons ago.
It's not likely though,
no.
Is it? Then again, in the IMA League, we had a wet race at Bahrain, so potato, which was actually very good. It's very exciting, and also in real life, wasn't it wet in? I think it was one of the WEC practices at the end of last year. It was wet at Bahrain,
and it was wet at the F3 test, and I think it was the F2, and it was absolutely horrible. That rain was. It was worse than in Birmingham, which is really quite a surprise. So
I'm assuming you've not had too much wet today, though. Unlike when I was up your neck of the woods not that long ago, and my golf got rained off. I was fuming.
No, it's been fine today. It was quite sunny earlier, actually.
Yeah,
I went for a bit of a walk, and it wasn't too bad. But it'll probably end up being raining tomorrow. I've been happy that we've had some sunny conditions. But we've got the nighttime conditions here in Jeddah. We've got about 30 seconds to go before the first cars head out onto the circuit. And well, as I say that, we've got an Alfa Romeo, or a Sabre, I should say, heading onto circuit now. That will be Kian Godendorp, obviously part of the Williams Esports outfit. We'll see what he can do here tonight. He doesn't often race here in WOR Tier 1. I know last season he was, a top runner in WOR Tier 2. So we'll see what he can do here tonight. And I think maybe a top 10's on the cards for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest. Looking at the grid, the top 10's on the cards for everyone, right? Everyone has the ability. They all have that potential of getting inside the top 10. It's about keeping it out of trouble on a circuit like this, about making sure that you're managing your tyres and your strategy. And to be perfectly honest, whilst I have said that overtaking is very much possible around here, we'll see that from Barry Burman throughout the race, I'm absolutely sure. Track position is still important, as Otis Lawrence has received a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, once again, we have the illegal blockings back, but we don't need to worry because we will obviously have a restart after Q3 anyway.
Yeah.
Do you have this in the Ironman League, or do they not qualify there?
We don't qualify in there at the moment. No, it's just a reverse championship order for the ultimate bans.
So, talking about the 5-place grid penalties, don't be surprised when you see them, because at the end of the sessions, about 2 or 3 people receive one, because for some reason the F1 game goes, oh, you're ahead of a car that's not on a lap, so we will give you a 5-place grid penalty. So hence why we have the restart, also so we can get this over to work, because for some reason we don't have trust in EA running servers for longer than an hour.
Are you telling me that this game isn't perfect?
Well, maybe.
Yeah, no. Well, the less we talk about that, the better. we'll both get ourselves in trouble, and then we'll never be able to work in this industry ever again.
Yeah.
So it's
Sorry,
fine. Look, we don't have to fill any more because we're about to enter the hot part of Q1.
Yes, and we get to see who's going to be looking quicker and who's going to be looking at the back of the grid. And some friends told me earlier on that the times around here in Q1, a 0.7 is good, a 25.7, and the gap normally to around the bottom is around a 25.9. So that's quite close, 0.2 separating possibly 20 drivers, which means you can't really afford to make a mistake. If you make one mistake, it loses you half a tenth. In some grids, oh, it's nothing, but here, half a tenth is a quarter of the gap between you and last.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've raced championships that aren't as close as this, but like where I remember I did a race at Istanbul. I qualified 7/10 off of the pole position, and I was 28th, and I was devastated. So 2/10 between the front and back of the field is obviously extremely close. You cannot afford basically a single mistake, any missed apex, and there are a lot of them around here. Again, 27 turns all the way around as we depart the opening portion of the lap down towards where the first sector is. This sector, I have never got the flow of. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I can't figure it out.
See, it's one of those sectors which I can get the flow of, but once in every 15 laps, and then it's quite nice. Apart from that, I hate it. The second sector, all I hate here is we can see on Kian's onboard here, this high-speed chicane at the right. It is horrible. I hit the inside wall every single time. You see me there,
I quite like it.
Really?
Yeah. I quite like it. It's the commitment. It's the same as like that final chicane in the swimming pool section at Monaco.
Mm-hmm.
Like hooking that up. When you get that right, it's primo.
It is, but when you don't get it right very often, it's even worse. And also, Lewis, you've got to remember you're about 3 KR rating ahead of me, so you've actually got some skill of driving. I haven't. So...
Well, yeah, no, I don't think people that subscribe to my YouTube channel think that. I don't think I don't think anyone that's seen my driving believes that I have any skill. Anyway, first lap being completed.
Indeed, and we'll see what Kian can do as he heads up towards the line. What will the opening lap be of the session? A 26.132. Decent lap indeed from Kian, and now it's time to try and look for someone who's on a lap. We got Ulas Azildrim heading up towards the line as Otis Lawrence goes fastest there by 0.4 of a second to Kian. Ulas, where can he go? He goes into second there with a 25.870, and a few more cars to come through, and one driver I'm keen on watching today is Jake Benham, but he's only heading in the first sector. So we'll move on to Fabrizio Dono. So we'll see what he can do here. He's not always in the points, but I think tonight he's got a good chance of the top 10.
Yeah, like I say, anyone can kind of figure their way through into it. Let's see what it is up towards the line, especially navigating some of the danger. 26.3 by the time he crosses it. Got the Merc of Reese Linton to go into that 6th position now with a 25.9.
Indeed, there, very nice lap from Reese, and Alvaro Carson up to second place there. Brilliant from him with a 25.822. And you can see there, a tenth and a half separating second to 8th on the grid. And we knew that it would be close, but maybe not this close. We'll see as Ishmael Fassi goes into third there. Just a little bit of time separating him and his teammate. Shanaka I believe that was, going into P7 there with a 0.913. And I think that is kind of it, apart from Jake and Nico. Nico goes on to P13, and Jake, when will he goes, he heads up towards the line, will be P14.
Yeah, that's not great for either of those two, but maybe potentially just banker laps maybe at this point in the session. I don't really know. I mean, they both are fighting for things in the championship. Of course, Longate's trying to get past Otis Lawrence in the championship. Too far behind Ronha and that lot, so don't worry about that too much. We'll see Tamas Gal come down probably into the pit lane, to be perfectly honest. Yep, certainly is. But Longay can fight for that. Obviously, Benham's trying to get ahead of Hoffland in the points. Well, they are fighting for various things in the championship.
Yeah. And some of them, I suppose, if they can just get a podium or maybe a P1 in qualifying or a win in the race, just once in the season, even if they're nowhere near it otherwise, it's a bit of confidence, isn't it? Obviously, with certain rumours about esports happening in the future, if it does come back, that'll really help them. I know it's not, it's not the same as being on the big stage and being in front of thousands and thousands of people, but you still have that confidence knowing that you can be at the top and beat some of the biggest and the best. You look at this grid, you've got lots of Otis, who I'd say arguably is one of the best in the game at this current time. He's not in esports, so he doesn't kind of get that, I think, appreciation that he deserves.
Yeah, but a lot of it is about, as Otis Lawrence bails from the session, he thinks that time will be good enough, and to be fair, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, a lot of it is kind of keeping the rust off as well. With there being the potential of more F1 esports or F1 sim racing, as you should be calling it now. Things like that. If they're on the horizon, if they come about anytime soon, I'm sure these drivers, they're well in the rhythm as to all that kind of stuff, and they'll be practicing for it. Fair enough. But keeping that race rust off is really, really important. It's not the same as like, you can do 1,000 laps, 5,000 laps, whatever of a circuit. It's not the same as racing constantly, and that's where sometimes it is good to start from the back just to kind of keep your skills sharp, even if it is for a bit of banter.
Yeah, indeed. I think it depends on the different drivers' mentality. Some of them can go constantly and just grind the game out for weeks. Some of them can do it for 1 week and be like, that's it for me. I definitely can't grind that long, but I know other people can, for sure. But obviously, they all wheel themselves back in towards the pit lane. The top 5 are complete on their laps, and we'll see what Tom Manley chooses to do, because Ulas thinks he's safe on his 0.87. Tom Manley, who's only 8 thousandths back, doesn't think that time is safe at the moment. We've got a few more drivers out onto the track here, but at the end of this qualifying, to be fair, those in the top 5, or I should say 2nd to 5th, could be at quite a bit of a risk here.
Yeah, like I say, there's going to be potentially some larger changes towards the end of the session, which is, again, that's what we all want. I don't like it when even people in the top 5 think they're safe. I'm always like, no, come on, maybe you're not. Maybe enough people are going to set some decent lap times, although in Q1, the likelihood of you being pushed down into that bottom 5, it is unlikely.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand why Otis Lawrence has been like, nope, that's me. You don't want to burn any extra tyres that you don't need to. And sometimes, this is the good time where you can sit back, eat yourself a chocolate bourbon or a custard cream and see what the dealio is with the rest of the session.
Yeah, I think Otis will be quite happy with that lap. I think, that's a lap which I would say also is quite good for Q2, never mind Q1 when the track's normally at its worst. So I think Otis will be more than happy with that lap time. I believe the last time he raced here, I think it was last season, I remember Otis somewhere crashing at turn 4. So this time he's made it through in qualifying to not crash. As we can see, more 5-place grid penalties coming through, but they mean absolutely nothing. Unless you get 3, of course, and the game disqualifies you, which we're hoping doesn't happen to anyone. I know it happened to, I think it was Jack West or something a few weeks back in, I don't know why I'm thinking of Austria, but that's the track that's in my mind. I don't think it was, but that's what I'm thinking. So we'll see what happens here at the end of qualifying. Obviously, King Goldendorp yet again going out first. You think maybe some kind of preference here from going out at the front and kind of leading the pack away?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Obviously, it's just been passed there, so that is Tamas Gal that's just gone through. Maybe there is a little bit of wanting to be the first or second driver out just to try and get your eye in. But to be fair, I don't know. I would rather be one of the first 2. But some people do like to kind of be like going in that final moment where they are the one responding to the rest of the field. I like to lay down the benchmark and then again go and eat my custard cream or chocolate bourbon, if I'm honest.
See, I wouldn't like to set down the benchmark, because if you do that and you end up being first and then going down to 20th, you feel a lot more worse than you would have done otherwise. But we've got the laps underway. Tamas Gal heading through towards that first sector. Now, this first sector it's one where you don't really lose much time. The second sector, I'd say, with that high-speed chicane is kind of where you can gain a lot of time. Here, it's just about flowing it through. The minimum speed between all the drivers is always that similar. That this first sector doesn't really matter too much. You can see them all within half a tenth of each other. As we can see, Tamas Gal heading through down towards the end of that first sector. We'll see what he can do in this opening set for his final lap. It'll be a 1 second improvement, but he was on a 27.2. He didn't set a lap on the soft, so he's got some delta to work with, which sometimes does give you that psychological advantage that you're improving on your lap.
Yeah, I mean, I will say though, the problem with like Sector 2 and Sector 3 is that there's a lot of straight in it. Yeah, don't get me wrong, you've got corners like this where you committed through, but now you're absolutely pinned effectively down into a very fast, left, right, fair enough. But then you're pinned all the way down into the final corner. So it's more the second half of that first sector. That is where you can find all of the time, in my opinion, around here. The rest of it is it's all relatively simple. It's just foot down, DRS open, and spot your braking points and commit.
Of course, we'll see what Tamas Gal can do as he heads there down in towards the final corner on this circuit, turn 27. He'll head back up with a little bit of DRS shortly towards the line. What will it be for Tamas Gal? Will he get himself safely through into Q2, into P3? I think that'll seem safely through to Q2.
Yeah, decent lap time there from Tamas Gal, and Gundorp going up into second position as well. So we are seeing the likes of Ulas Zildrim dropping back 2 positions already with the first 2 lap times sent. Make that 3. Goodness me.
Yeah, many improvements coming through here. We can see going up towards the line. Duncan Hofton's going to retire in 14th. Daniel able to qualify. Fabi is also able to qualify on there with a 26.041. I believe that might have been Reese Linton there, popping up to second place. Still no one near the time of Otis Thompson. About Nicholas Longa. Can he see himself out of Q1 to the line? He will indeed with a P2 lap time. What about Jake Benham? Can he get himself out of Q1? Yes, he can into P10, and I believe that might be it unless Isfan can do anything, and no, he can't. Then look at that gap though, Luce, between P15 and P16. That's about 7 thousandths of 1 second.
Yeah, exactly. Extremely close. Big one, though. Duncan Hoffland out in Q1. Of course, we know Barry Burman was one of those, but that's courtesy of his retirement at the start of the session, so wasn't really intending to go for it. Otis Lawrence bailed from the session, but still remains on top, which is obviously fantastic for him. It's a great confidence booster. A lot of drivers, though, down in that bottom half that maybe we were a little shocked by. I think there might have been a bit of a scary moment in there for Ulas Zildrim, where he was sat there looking at it being like, oh, I've dropped back quite a few positions. Now, what was it? He retired from the session when he was 5th, so he's dropped down to 11th, so he's dropped 6 spots and all that.
See, now that makes me think if we go into Q2, no one can afford to make that risk again.
No way.
Because that was, at one point you're thinking, will he go out? It's just the fact that those at the back didn't quite find those key improvements, and then again, they weren't even far off Ulas's time either. They was in the 0.9s or maybe a low 26.0. But we can see there the Alpine being more back in, and we can now see the results for Q1. It was Otis Lawrence who topped it off there with a penalty removes there, a 25.667, half depth clear of Nicholas Longa in second, recently in third, Keane Golden up in fourth, Alvaro Caraton in P5, followed by Tamas Gal, Ishmael Fassi, Ikebana, Declan Barrett, and Jake Bedham at the top 10. Then we had Ulas, Tom, Ruben Shanaka, and Philip Prejnader in the top 15. And then we did unfortunately lose Isfan Pookie, Duncan Hoffman, Fabrizio Donoso, Daniel Kjelsen, and Barry Burman. Barry did opt to start from the back, but the others, I don't think they quite had that intention.
No, indeed. Being 4 tenths off of the fastest time. Again, this is the whole thing with championships as strong as this. You're frustrated to not be more in the mix. When you've qualified 4 tenths off, to be fair, at this level, they expect to not go through, right? If you're 4 tenths off of the top time. But it is still frustrating because 4 tenths it's really not much. You are talking about, just leaving a little bit on the table, maybe going into a hairpin by missing a bit of an apex here and there. It really isn't much, but it adds up very quickly.
It does indeed, and I think sometimes as well, it's a fact of if you make one mistake and lose a tenth, you could be on for a top 10 lap, and then it goes and you're like, oh, I didn't find any improvements, or the improvement wasn't greater enough. And that's why I think sometimes on the first runs, I think if you're not confident, don't push too hard on the first run. Because I think if you push too hard, you could see yourself into a wall, or you could see yourself with a really poor lap time, and then you're thinking, oh, I'm so far off. Whereas I think if you've got the confidence, go for it. Otis Lawrence, perfect example. Had the confidence in the lap, had the confidence in the car, pushed, got himself to the top, and wasn't even worried about losing first place. And when you set that on your opening run, that says something.
Yeah, exactly. And also, you're saving a set of tyres, all that kind of as well, that you're not going back out in the session. At this point, you're going to want to go out on effectively some old tyres, set a banker lap. It doesn't need to be great, but it's more just, again, keeping your eye on. For the most part, to be honest, this first lap, the big thing is that you want to set a decent banker lap, more so to get yourself a decent delta, so that you can read that delta and kind of see how much you need to improve per sector, to kind of move you up. As much as you know when a good lap's a good lap, having a little bit of a delta can help. It helps some people, it doesn't help others. Obviously, some people do like to go out there on a fresh set of soft tyres and literally just pull the trigger straight away. That wasn't great for Ismail Fazli. Thankfully, it's an out lap though.
Indeed, and unfortunately, we don't get to see if they're on new or used tyres. So the only thing we can see really is if we look at the set of times and say, that doesn't look good, then we can determine if their lap is on used or new softs. But then again, I'm not very good at the game, so I don't really know. So I just have to kind of guess and hope I don't look stupid on the mic, which normally I don't, which is a good thing. But there'll be some times where I will get hated in the chat because I commented about one of the quicker drivers being on a used set and me saying, "Oh, that wasn't a very good lap."
Well, I mean, to be fair, I have done that a lot. And my general response when drivers message me afterwards saying, "Oh, you didn't say that such and such was very good, even though it is because this," I just respond with, "I don't care."
Well, that's one way to go about it, yes.
Simple. Sorry.
Oh, he's gone wide again, and that's Ishmael's lap done for now. Big shame, but I think he showed in Q1 that he's got the pace to set the lap. He's just making a few mistakes here and there. Of course, he could also be on the used tyres, hence why he's not got as much grip, and that's why he went wide. And if not, he's had a bit of a skill issue, hence why he's now got no lap time set. At the first part of qualifying, he'll have to go back in and get a new set of tyres, or, if he's got the fuel to do so, go back around and once again save his battery, and then try and get himself another lap here on those set of tyres. But we'll see. Alvaro Carlton heading down towards the end of this second sector. And Alvaro, he's one of those drivers, I think he's very quick, but he doesn't always get the appreciation he deserves. I don't know what it is, but I don't really see people really mentioning him anywhere. But I'd say he's probably one of the top, maybe one of the top 6 best drivers on this game currently.
It is, a formidable force. So, maybe, but then it is hard to kind of put him near the same kind of categories as your drivers like, for example, Otis Lawrence even. And that's before you even get to the Jarno Opmirs and Ronhars of the world. Fashy staying out, by the way. I believe that is because we see Carroton across the line with a 26.2. I think we're definitely on the used tyre set at the moment. With Fazzy still going on, I think that definitely confirms that he is on a used tyre set because he doesn't care about the tyre life. If that was a new set of tyres, he would have exceeded track limits like he did and then immediately slowed down to not burn the tyres.
Of course, he's on a lap now. We'll see. He's got about 30% of battery, so his lap's not going to be the best. Given the fact he's not got much battery, as Shanika Clay goes fastest there with the 26.053, and Ishmael Fassi's first sector was really nothing to look at all. And then we'll see another driver coming through. This will be Philip Presneda in the Alpine. Can he get himself through and towards that top 10? No, we won't. He'll head back in towards the pit. So P11 still for Philip Presneda. And obviously the only guys to set a lap time so far, I'd say Shanaka Clay is the only one who could be on a set of the new tyres. But that was a few lap times we saw back in Q1. But then again, we'll see when more lap times come through from the others, if that lap will be representative, and he'll be heading back into the pit lane. And, well, everyone else not wanting to go out.
Yeah, I think they want to do that. Stick a fresh set of softs on for the middle stint, maybe even going out with the final moments, and just push 110%. That 26.0 from Shanaka Clay, I can tell you what will happen if he doesn't improve on that. Well, you're not moving through. We already know that. I think like the time based on what we saw in the previous session, surely we're aiming for a 0.8. You've got to set a 0.8 at least, 0.8, 0.7, something in that vein.
Surely, I think we could even be seeing 0.7s, maybe. I think we should be seeing the 0.6s, especially considering Otis Lawrence did that in Q1, where the grip is, it tends to be a lot worse than it is in Q2. So we'll see what lap times come through from the drivers, and we can see Kia now heading in towards that first sector. But I'm going to steal Danfield's little game that he likes to do, and I want to know where everyone's watching from, because Danfield does it, and I feel like it's now some sort of tradition. I'm not going to steal it. I'm going to,
You can't steal his thing.
Well, listen. It's praising him. I'm giving him credit, and I just want to know where everyone's watching from, because it says it in the name, doesn't it, Lewis? World Online Racing.
Think of a more interesting question for people to ask people.
What are you having for dinner tonight?
No, not even that. I said about chocolate bourbons and custard creams earlier. If you were to get a biscuit right now, or maybe you do have a biscuit right now, what biscuit is it? That's a more interesting question. Well, sort of. Only because it's not because it's something different than what Dan asked. By the way, for me, malted milk with the chocolate on the bottom.
Oh no, that's like a bottom. That's like the bottom a malted milk.
Absolutely not.
No, no. And
What
I'm
kind of
looking in the
biscuit?
chat, and they don't
You're
like.
a boring rich tea biscuit kind of guy. Although to be fair, rich tea's underrated. I'm not gonna lie.
See, they don't like your response because they're not answering you, they're answering me. And we can see someone saying, I'm watching from the Midlands. That is a big W. Welcome in, sir. Shaggy653. We can see many people from different places. And also, someone's ordered a katsu curry. Ooh. I never tried it, but it sounds nice, the name. Ooh. I hope you enjoy that.
It's not a good biscuit.
Yeah, well, you could make it into a biscuit, maybe.
No, absolutely not. Do not. There are things that you can dunk a biscuit into, and a katsu curry ain't it. Chocolate hobnobs, bam.
Ooh, yeah. See,
That is
mine has got to be Aldi's chocolate Oaties.
Which is, I'm assuming, like a knockoff hobnob.
Yeah, but they're
chocolate.
better.
Well, to be fair, I actually don't doubt that, actually. Right, anyway, refocus on what's going on.
Yes, we have Ulas Hazildrim heading down towards turn one. He's going to be the first, probably, on the new set of tyres to set a lap. We'll see what he can do in this opening set. So heading down in towards turn one and using all the curvatures he can, or that the car will allow him to, without invalidating the lap as he heads up towards turn number 4. Just obviously swings it to the left, down to around 5th gear, before getting back on the power. In this first sector, the curbs are horrible because they're so unpredictable. 1 minute they'll work, next minute as you will be flying off the circuit.
Yeah, indeed. It's like I say, it's so tricky to nail the lap around here with how high some of those curbs are. It's so easy to get beached on them. But thankfully, some of the curbs, when you come to this part of the lap, they're generally fairly flat. They're effectively painted concrete as they work their way through 13. Now, watch this. Keep it over to the left-hand side before chucking it through Nathan's most hated corner. Oh, and he hit the wall.
Yeah, you jinxed him by saying that.
No, I didn't. There's no such thing as the commentator's curse.
Well, we'll leave that one for the day because I know for a fact you hate the commentator's curse. You and Zach both hate it, where I think it's an actual thing. Because I did it in a Monaco race when I jinxed 8 people. 8. That's nearly half the grid. Because I said, oh, so-and-so's doing good, and they died.
But that's Monaco, mate. Like, a hard track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're meant to be the best on the game. Ooh,
well, yeah, that's debatable, isn't it?
Oh, that was close there between one of the McLarens and the Hasses as they headed in towards the final corner. We'll see what Tamash can do, because Ulas is going to go across the line first. He doesn't set a lap, so he invalidated. What can Tamash do? A 25.7. No, that is more like it there from Tamash. Got a brilliant lap to set off the session. A few more cars coming through. Trying to find who's actually on a lap and who's near the end of that funnel set to Kean Godendorp into second there, the 26.021. And so it seems that Tamash's lap is really, really good.
Yeah, 753. It's on the cusp of being good enough for Q3, right? I think to be fair, a 753, it might well be like an 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, like that kind of lap time. Like if it's out, it is going to be out by a tiny margin. Tom Manley then going up into 2nd position. Prejneda now up into 3rd position with an 808. I don't think that's good. Now I do think you need to set a 7 here.
Yeah, definitely. Reese Linton there, a 0.6. Brilliant lap time from Reese Linton. Ruben Pedroño on a 0.050 there. So not the best lap indeed from what we've seen so far, but I'm sure he'll be able to find an improvement. We've got Nicholas Longate. He goes into second there with a 0.642. What about Ishmael Fassi? He goes to the line, goes up to the top with a 0.518. Brilliant lap time there from the Williams. A brilliant way to open up the session for himself. And that might be safe there. A 25.518 considering those in 10th are on a 0.1. That's a 6/10 gap, 7/10 gap.
I think a bare minimum, as there goes Otis Lawrence on a 516, 2,000 per second fast and Fazian. Of course, there's Caraton, 622. I think the top 5 now are safe. I genuinely do. I don't see too many people getting into the 6. Like I say, Tamash Gales might be, but now I am certainly less sure. But I do think those top 5, those lap times should be good enough.
Of course, I think anyone maybe 7th down is in a bit of a trouble spot. What we can see at the moment, out of qualifying 2, provisionally, is Ruben Pedroño on his 0.050, and then Shonika Clay in 12th, Declan Barrett 13th. Then we have Ikebana and Ulas Zildrim, who didn't set lap times there. Ulas made a mistake on his lap, and Iker, I think, must have made a mistake somewhere because he's completely let off, and he won't be continuing within this lap unless he's going to look to go again. He's got no battery, so that will be it for Ikebana on this particular run. But Kean Godendorp, he's in the 26s. He's a 10th and a half nearly back off the P9 time, so he's got a lot of time to gain. And it is quite a lot to even get himself 1 position higher.
Yeah, exactly. As that's my kind of line from Benham around here. That's normally the line I do against the AI. That's why you work your way up the order and then just hold them all back, take the penalty, take the L, and then Alt F4 so you don't have to race this circuit. I am not a fan. I don't know if you
See,
can get that vibe.
no, I actually like it. I think this is one of my favourite tracks. Genuinely, I'm not very quick. My best lap time is I think
Nah,
it's a 26.9.
I don't care what your fastest lap time is. Would you put this in your top 5 circuits on planet Earth?
No, because not every track is about F1.
Okay, good answer.
Listen, I'm not that bad. Believe me.
I mean, yeah.
You
To be
got
fair, it shouldn't even be your top 5 circuits in Formula One, but I'll allow that as an answer.
no. It's maybe top 10 in Formula One. We'll give it that.
Even I would put it in the top 10 in Formula One, but
Right,
that isn't saying much when you have circuits like Baku and Miami. You know what I mean?
I'll give it a top 6 spot then. Maybe I'll be generous. Maybe to be fair, I actually think it could be the top 6.
No.
Okay
No.
then. No, well, it seems a
The thing
different.
is, you've got like things like Spa, obviously. You've got Austria. You've got Silverstone.
Yeah.
You got Canada. I even put Barcelona above this. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would. Actually, I really don't like Barcelona very much.
Do you like anything? Because I know you don't like Monza. You don't like Imola, Zandvoort.
I don't like Zandvoort. No, I do like Imola. How dare you say I don't like Imola?
Well, that's
Imola's
one of the
a
ones
great
you told me. You told me about 10 tracks. Oh, I don't like this track. You're just being picky.
I don't think Imola's very good for racing, but I do like Imola. It's a lovely place, and Julian Alaphilippe won the Cycling World Championship around there in 2020. So at least there's that.
Yeah,
With
that's a good point. Oh, and 5 place grid penalties again, this time for Tom Manley. And I want to know in the chat, actually, everyone, what is your favourite track? What is everyone's favourite track? And it doesn't have to be F1. It can be in any sort of motorsport because you can't ignore the likes of Fuji, Mount Panorama and Donington Park, which I think are some of the best tracks. You can't ignore them because, unfortunately, they aren't good enough or safe enough or whatever for Formula One, which is a shame. Oh, Jeddah. Brilliant.
Fuji is safe enough. It's just it's not got the money. But it's fine. Mine is Bathurst, so it's fine. Donington Park's a good one, actually. I don't really like Fuji that much. Donington Park's a good one, but it's not in my top 5.
Mine's Donington because it's the only track I've been to, but it does drop down because it's the only time I saw you.
That is true.
So, and that's when you offended me by saying Zandvoort wasn't a nice track.
It's not a nice track.
So, Donington Park.
I'm sorry, I've been there in person. It would be like having like the South End or the Margate Grand Prix. It's like the track itself as a flow is fine. And if you are from Zandvoort and that kind of area, I'm not sorry. I don't care. Do better.
Well, there we are. Lewis had told us he doesn't like Zandvoort, but we're back on track now. We've got Declan Barrett beginning his final lap here, probably in the Q2 session. 40 seconds to go before the checkered flag hits the circuit, so that Ferrari there needs to get a move on. In the middle, set to that'll be Nicholas Longo, of course, who's in the top 5. So we'll see what lap times that Declan can do. What can he do in this first sector? He heads through in towards the S's, gets back on the power on the exit. He'll head up towards that end of the sector split. It'll be a 31.2. That's a 4/10th improvement already on the Kuskus Clay's time after what? 10 corners, 12 corners.
Yeah. But needs to do more. Obviously, we're in that final moment of the session. We're about to see which 5 drivers are going to get knocked out in all of this. Got to be super brave and super committed. Again, once you've come out of those chicanes, there's not really anything you can do. Keep it as close to the barrier on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, back over to the right-hand side, straighten up the braking zone for this part before you throw it through the left-hander, making sure not to run too far out wide. It is looking tidy, but is it fast enough for Barrett?
Well, it's looking good so far. He's up by 7/10 of a second as he heads down towards the final couple of corners. What will it be as he heads into turn 27? Well, we can't see what it is here. We'll have to wait till he gets towards the start-finish line. He heads there on the exit, has a little bit of DRS as soon as he hits that pit entry line. There we can see the rear wing opening up. What will it be for Declan Barrett? Into P5, brilliant up there. Only a little bit ahead of Nico as Shanaka Clay only manages 10th.
Yeah, indeed. So I do think Shanaka Clay will be out of this and will not be progressing through. Tamas Gao up to the top with a 25.397. Godendorp getting up there as well.
That's a brilliant lap, isn't it? 25.3 as Ulas Zildrum there, 0.571 pops himself into P4. We've got a few more cars coming through, trying to keep an eye on who's actually going to come up towards the line. We've got Ikebana as he heads up towards the line. Tom Manley only managing 10th there. That might not be safe, as many drivers are still on improvements. Ikebana into P6. That knocks Tom Manley out of qualifying. What about Philip Presnader? He goes and stays 12th. He's out of Q2. What about Jake and Ruben? Ruben up towards the line. Where does he go? Into P12. And Jake Benham, can he get himself out? No, he can't. Jake Benham out of qualifying as well. And that's a big surprise for the Mercedes team.
Yeah, so you did need a 0.6. Well, really a 6.42. Longate was the one who set that one, and I say doesn't need to do anything more. What a lap time from Tamas Gal, though, to go up to the top of the timesheets with 25.397, just about sneaking into the threes, completely skipped over the fours. Going to need to repeat that kind of lap time if they want to go and grab pole position this afternoon or evening, whatever time we're at.
Well, that time, it's a statement, isn't it? If we saw the lap time that Otis did in Q1, we think, that's decent, but a 0.397 in Q2, that is brilliant. The second best time is Otis Lawrence on a 0.516, followed by, obviously, the guy in third who was on a 0.518. I believe that was Ishmael Fassi. I can't remember because his name disappeared as I was about to read it out. But we'll see shortly the results here in the Q2 session. We can see them pop up onto our screens, and it will be Tamashko there for the Haas team on top with the 25.397. Otis Lawrence in second, followed by Ishmael Fassi in third, Ulas Ildrim in fourth, and Keane Gondor, brilliant from him to get himself into the top five. Ikebana in P6, Alvaro Caraton in seventh, Reesington 8th, Declan Barrett 9th, and Nicholas Longate rounded at the top 10, all heading through in towards Q3. But we did lose, of course, in Q2, Jake Benham, Tom Manley, Ruben Pedronio, Philip Presnader, and Shanaka Clayton. I'd say the biggest surprise there for me is Tom Manley. I think in the past 3 races, he's picked up 2 podiums and also a victory somewhere in the mix. He's done a brilliant job. But out in Q2, starting P12, it isn't ideal around the Jeddah circuit.
Yeah, indeed. Won at Qatar a couple of rounds back. So, that's a bit of a shock. But, like I say, you can still win from a bit further down the order. I wouldn't worry about it too much. By the way, you've got some pretty highbrow fans in here. My goodness me. Someone suggested Moss Sport as their favourite track. Great shout.
Moss Sport.
CTMP, Canadian Tire and Motorsport Park. It is really tricky. It's got a really good flow to it. Like a lot of fast flowing bits, and then there is an awkward, horrible, nasty double right-hander. But it's kind of cool because it's at the top of a hill. It feels like you're doing a little bit of a skateboard trick at the top. I like the track as well. It's not in my top 5, but good shout. I like that.
I saw a comment in there by Kyle Max saying Daytona Milton Keynes karting track. Well, that is also probably one of my favourites because it's the first time and the only place I've commentated live on a circuit. So yes, Kyle Mack, you are very true with that prediction.
Absolutely not.
No, the Daytona Milton Keynes track is beautiful. I didn't see the backside of it because I was that small. But the first section, the final couple of corners, it's brilliant. The hairpins, there's 2 hairpins followed by each other for the final couple of corners. There's many heroics, especially in the wet, which makes it quite entertaining.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm not a huge. Sorry, everyone. I'm not really a huge karting guy. I don't really like karting at all.
You've offended probably half the chat.
I don't care. Every time I go karting, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, this is kind of cool. And then about 2 laps later, I'm like, oh, I don't really care about this.
See, you know what? Maybe you deserve the treatment you got in Ironman League.
What do you mean? Oh, well,
because they don't like you in there either, do they?
No, it's only Opmir's fans. They don't like me. He's not here, so I can't give it a good go in this. I'm really sorry.
Exactly. There's no Opmir fans in here, unfortunately. Well, there might be a few, but obviously Yono isn't here.
There's plenty.
Yeah, well, yeah. Big shame that Yono's not here, but obviously he won the championship, and I believe someone said he was ill, which is obviously a big shame. So hopefully, gets better soon, along with, of course, Thomas Ronhar, Yono's biggest rival, I'd say, in this championship. He had a crash in a kart, and the impact was 65 kilometres an hour. That isn't very nice at all. So obviously, hopefully, Ronhar can get himself better soon, so we can obviously compete more here in league racing and maybe in esports if that ever comes up again. And well, Otis Lawrence yet again, first out on track. Who's your pick for pole here, Lewis? We'll ask the chat in a second, but I want to know who you're happy with tonight.
Part of me, I think Otis is the easy option. And that's why I would take him. But I don't know. Like there's at least 3 or 4 others that definitely can take him. Tamas Gal, obviously, with that lap time in the previous session, Fasci, and I do think Reese Linton actually weirdly I might have the pace, but I've got to lean towards Otis Lawrence.
Yeah, see, I'm going to go for Mr. Tamashkar, because first of all, I speak to him quite a lot, but second of all, he has
Oh,
had
right.
a brilliant race. You know, he's had a brilliant qualifying so far, and I can never look at that Haas logo and say that doesn't look like Tim Hortons. I saw a video earlier on TikTok, and someone mentioned that out, and I can't not look at it now and think of Tim Hortons.
No, no. What? I mean, no. Honestly, 100%. I see what you mean, but that cannot be your reason to pick. You know, I've never been to a Tim Hortons.
Nor me. It's too expensive for me.
I didn't even really know. Honestly, I didn't think we had them in the UK until I was at Donington Park, not last year, the year before, and someone brought some stuff. I was like, oh right, fantastic. Anyway, move on.
Indeed. So, right, apart from that, I still think Tamashkar will get pole because he's been brilliant so far. He took pole back in Bahrain in the first race, so maybe he can do it here at Saudi Arabia in the final race. It's a complete opposite with the where we are in the calendar, but the tracks very close to each other, being Bahrain and Saudi. So maybe it's that Arabian, not curse, that praise that Saudi Arabia's got on him, so we'll see him take pole. But obviously, let us know in the chat, guys, who you think will take pole position, because I can see Tamashkar having a mention. I can see Ishmael Fassi having a mention for pole as well. So let us know. Get your predictions in before we start the first runs of Q3, because if you put your prediction in after, they don't count, because you've already seen what the drivers can do.
That is true. That is true. It's an unacceptable thing. That's a wimp move right now. We'll see Otis Lawrence onto the lap. Do you think surely going to be on a scrub set of tyres for this first lap of Q3?
Well, he retired in Q1 and Q2, so I think he's got enough to do two new set runs, because he's gonna, if he goes from an old set to a new set, he's gonna get adjusted to being quicker. But if he goes straight into a new set, he's on the same playing field the whole time. So maybe, but we'll see what he can do at the end of this first sector.
I think you're absolutely right, actually. Yeah, I mean, that's why you would want to retire from those sessions. Only do one run in Q1 and Q2. Otis Lawrence, 31.097. No idea if that is that any good?
I think it is. I got told that at 0.0.1's good.
We're not very good at this, are we?
No, we're not. No. My best set to time is probably about 7 tenths off it, so I couldn't really say if it's good. But I did get told, well, it doesn't matter now, that could have ended in the wall, because he hopped that curb and the car flung over to the right. And that wall there on the right is not what you want to meet at all. No. The walls here, they are lethal.
Yeah, indeed. I can't remember exactly how much each of the, I think it's 3 tons, if I remember correctly. Although that might have been for each, because I know they're all like segmented pieces. I'm pretty sure each one of those weighs 3 tons. So just imagine hitting that, best part of 260, 270k.
Yeah.
Even at that speed, obviously in game they don't move anyway, because physics haven't been invented. But even in real life, you ain't moving that wall.
Oh no, not at all. And you are going to be inside the wall. Well, the car will be. Obviously, Mick Schumacher showed us that in 2022 when the car pretty much ripped in half in that part of the circuit. But we can see Declan Barrett now heading up towards the line. What will it be for the McLaren? Up to the top there, the 25.725. A few more laps coming through. It'll be Tamashkar with the 26.1. I'm just trying to find who's coming through. Ika Bainer, he's heading up to the line. We'll see what he can do here.
Reece Linton there was terrible through the that basically the final proper chicane on the circuit, as we'll see Bainer up towards the line, 25.7 to beat. These are all real benchmark lap times. None of these are even in the hunt for pole position. That's a little bit more like it for Milas Zildrim, being the second driver today to get into the 25.4s.
Yeah, that's a very nice up there from Milas. And Ishmael Fassi will join him onto the front row with a 0.573. We've got Alvaro Carton heading through the first set to Nicholas Longue. What can he do as he heads up towards the line? He'll go up into P5 with a 26.043. I'm looking back in the chat. I can see more predictions for Tamashkar, more predictions, of course, for Nicholas Longue, and also someone mentioning Philippe Presneder, but Philippe's not in Q3, unfortunately, so we can't have him for pole. And also, I'm being told for pole.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe you. But I didn't realise that you spelt your name with an E.
I don't.
That's good. No, it's fine. I'll spell it like that from now on. Right, thank you.
Brilliant. So, Andrew, thank you, because now that man, every time he messages me, Lewis will send my name with an E every single time, and he won't forget it, ever. Believe me, 2 years' time, he'll still do the same thing now. So
I respect that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but to be fair, there's a guy who runs Formula Sim Racing, if anyone's ever heard of it, Formula Sim Racing World Championship. His name's Cameron Roger. Every now and then, I still call him Cameron Rogers. I remove the D. He's got it's Rodger. I remove the D, stick an S on the end. He hates it. Well, really badly.
I'm looking in the chat, and Brett Kosh is saying a Williams 1, 2, 3, 4. He mentioned it earlier on. Brett is quite happy over his team doing well. Obviously, having hang on, Williams 1, 2, 3, 4. Julius is in Williams. Well, I didn't know that. Unless he's on about the fact Kian could get himself onto the onto the front row maybe to make it a 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly. I don't know. But so far, the Williams crew are doing decent. But then again, I'm
No,
saying that, and I'm quite blind because I realise that Reece Hinton's in race clutch and that Declan Barrett's in Veloce. So no, I don't know what I was thinking with that.
I completely forget what team everyone belongs to. Because the thing is in the F1, you don't get to represent your own team.
Oh yeah,
liveries and stuff. I get very confused.
I forgot Ika Bainer joined Williams. I did forget about that because I remember last week in Abu Dhabi, me and Dan were talking about the fact that Thomas Reinhardt's teammate was holding him up. We then later realised, oh no, he's not in the same team anymore. So at one point I'm thinking, well, RHG, this is very good teamwork. Yeah, he joined Williams, I think, a day before, and I forgot to kind of mention that. So, yeah, so they wasn't teammates, so it was, yeah, just in a different car. And obviously in the Alfa Romeo, different, well, the Sabre should say, sorry, to Sauber. That car is a lot different to the Williams. I know they're equal performance, but we all know that they're not equal performance. We all know there's there's differences in the cars, and the Williams and the Sauber being a little bit different. So maybe that could be why he could have a little bit of a struggle. If he does, he might get pole, but if he doesn't, he can play in the car.
But do you know why they're different?
Because of EA not having the same numbers on certain things. That is all I know. I've heard many different things about the aero being different, because apparently the Red Bull is really good, but the AlphaTauri is terrible. Because apparently, for some reason, even though the cars are meant to be the same, because they look different, that factors into the way they work.
Well, yeah, of course, because every time you have cars that have equal performance in the world of sim racing, there is one thing that a lot of people sort of overlook, but not really, which is wheelbase.
Ah, yes.
It's always the one, is that if your car is so long, even if you have equal performance on the cars, you still have to take into account the wheelbase of the vehicle. Like, you can't just ignore that. That's just part of it. Otherwise, they slide around in very weird ways. So you need to take that into account. And wheelbase makes a big difference. If you have a car that's a long wheelbase and you go to Monaco, right, even if it's 2 or 3 inches longer, going into the hairpin, you will have problems caused. You will understeer more if it's a longer car. It's just how it is.
Of course, and well, maybe that's something I didn't realise, but I'll keep blaming the fact the car's meant to be the same, but they're not. But then again, it's EA. This game isn't even meant to be a sim game. It's literally, I would call it a simcade, because listen, people say it's not realistic at all, but there is elements of it. There is elements of realism in the car. So I don't think we can go as far to saying it's an arcade, but I'd say it's in the middle between a simulation and an arcade game. But we'll see what people can do in these simcade cars, as it'll be Keane Godendorp to go first on his Q3 run. I think this will be the final runs here. Yes, 1 minute 14 left to go, so they've got to get a bit of a move on to get themselves towards the line. And Lewis, you're sticking with who you picked earlier, because I forgot who it was.
It was Otis Lawrence, and I am sticking with it. Obviously, bailed from that previous lap time, but I still think Otis Lawrence has got the pace. Then again, the fastest lap time we've seen all day thus far has been from your man, Tamas Gal, finds himself in 6th position at the moment, but still with that potential of pole.
Yes, indeed, and we can see in the chat that Message saying that Ulash will be going for pole. Possibly, we know Ulash is a very good qualifier, so we'll see if he can try and get himself onto pole. He's on provisional pole at the moment, but a point 4 was beaten by Tamas, I think it was, in the previous session by a 1/10 of a second. So I think we will see some quicker times than that indeed. So we can see Keane in the Sabre car heading into turn 1 before getting back on the power on the exit, heading through in towards turns 3 and then in towards this horrible little section at turn 4. You've got to brake, then to get back on the power instantly without hitting that inside wall, and then without hitting that curb on the right hand side and completely flipping the car around. He heads through this first sector now in towards the S's part of the section. Obviously, turn 6 through towards turn number 12, and this first sector here, Lewis, we'll see what it'll be, and it'll be a 31.2. That is a little bit off, isn't it? That.
Yeah, that's not great for Godendorp, unfortunately. So that would be like towards the end of the lap. I'm thinking that'll be like a higher 25, like maybe even a 0.8, depending on what you can do in sector 2 and 3. Throws it up through this sector. I cannot believe, by the way, which sectors that you say are or which parts are the worst parts of this. Just because they're the most difficult or whatever. Yeah. They're the most satisfying to get correct.
You're not wrong, though. They honestly, when you get them right, you sit there and think, oh, that was brilliant. But then you can't do it ever again. And it's a 58.883 in the second set to split with the first. So looking decent. It's getting better as Keane goes along. But that first sector will have definitely harmed his final lap as he heads down now in towards the final few corners. Everyone also on laps now, all spread out on the grid. Someone down in turn 12, and he's down in the final corner already. A little bit like Max Verstappen, a bit of a tap on the wall from the Dutchman. And we'll see He won't be much of a good lap at all, I think, with that tap to the wall. No. P3?
Oh.
Well, you know what? He's proved us wrong, Lewis.
Well, I mean, did well to recover that time, but there is Otis Lawrence, 25.2. Fastest lap we have seen all day. Absolute flyer from the McLaren driver. We'll see the final ones come through. Declan Barrett comes into the pit lanes. Another time comes in. Here comes some more.
Yep, we'll see what Ikebana can do. Where can he go? He goes up into P6 there. Ismail Fazi heading up towards the line. What can he do in his Williams when he gets to the top? He'll go into P2, right behind the back of Otis Lawrence. Nunes has ordered him in P4. And I don't want to see what I just saw. I can see my Haas going very, very slow. And Tamas Gal will be starting P10. Oh my goodness, I could not have cursed him even more.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but the commentator's curse exists for you, but not for me. I picked Otis Lawrence. What position is he in again? Can you remind me?
Maybe.
Oh, well, it's on screen, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
oh,
well.
there it is. Commentator's curse, eh?
Just for me then, Rocco, then it's just for me. But we can see the final results coming through, and it is Otis Lawrence on pole, of course, with his brilliant lap of a 1 minute 25.239, just 22,000 separating him and Ismail Fazi, who Ismail lost the victory in Abu Dhabi by 21,000 seconds. So, you know, Ismail's always in second by a little bit of a gap to first, and then we have Nicholas Longate in third, followed by Ulash Azildrim in P4. Reece Linton rounded out the top five, brilliant from him to get himself through and towards the top five part of the grid, and we can see over Okoton in P6, Ikebana in P7, Keane Gondup in P8, Declan Barrett in 9th, and Tamas Gal in 10th. And unfortunately for Brett Karsh, it's going to be Williams 6-7. No, Williams 2-6-7-8. Ooh.
So what was the call area? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, and it's a 2-6-7-8.
That's rough. That is a rough one.
Indeed it is.
Big F.
Yes, big shame for Williams, but they can try and bounce it back in the race. And of course, we have the mandatory restart. So we'll have a quick word from our sponsors, and we will be back with you very, very shortly. And welcome back, everyone, back here on the camera screen. We've got to wait a little bit more before we can get our way through in towards the main 25-lap race. But qualifying, Lewis, to kind of talk about it a little bit more, that lap time from Otis Lawrence was brilliant, but there was a couple of drivers that weren't that far behind.
Yeah, indeed. Like I say, it was very impressive to see a driver get into the point twos. Otis Lawrence being the only one, the only one to have done so. Obviously, we did see Fazi do so as well. I think the big talking point, less so of the positives. Sorry, by the way, is the disappointment of Tamas Gal setting a 25.397 in Q2, which would have been good enough third, fourth. That kind of area, that'll be painful.
It will. I think he had the pace, but he made a mistake on his lap, and that's why he's starting 10th. He didn't improve on his 1 minute 26.1, and that's what makes me think, why didn't you go out on another set of the new softs to get himself a decent benchmarking, which he didn't do, hence why he's at the back. But he can work his way through. I think he's got some decent race pace, so all he needs to do in this race is just kind of, settle down a bit. Don't get too under pressure. He's got a teammate who's a little bit ahead. He can also give you some data, and they can just work a little bit together and get him up the grid. But on a whole, we can see the likes of Shanika Clay was out, of course, in Q2. Big shame for him. Also, lots of Tom Manley. So they've got to work their way back in towards that top 10, and they got the pace to do so. So we could still see quite a mixed ending here with all the drivers. I think it's still great to see Otis on pole. He didn't win, I don't think, since round. I think it was around round 5. So it's going to be a little bit different to what he's done for most of the season, but maybe back on the top step here tonight.
You never know. You never really know. Like I say, these kind of races, they're unpredictable at the best of times, but particularly around a street circuit, but then a street circuit which you can actually get the overtakes done on. There are quite a few overtaking opportunities around here. Obviously, we've said before, the run down into turn 1, turn 2. Obviously, you've got the run down into 27, that last corner. But then, maybe we'll see some people play some DRS games. We have seen that a fair few times around here, including in 2021. We're not going to talk about that because we have differing opinions.
Of course, we have very different opinions on that, and I think the chat also have very differing opinions. Definitely.
Let's not.
We're not going to talk about it at all. But I think this circuit, I think the racing can be quite good. I think it is also the fact we can DRS chicken and get a good runs down the straights. But I think genuinely it's quite a fun track to race around, and I think we can also see quite a few moves happening. Sometimes in places where you don't think they really happen, especially when we've got softs versus hards or mediums versus softs, where obviously the softs are going to be a lot quicker. Mediums and hards a little bit slower, but obviously they'll last a little bit longer than the soft. So I think strategy, another key element in this race, getting the strategy right and making sure to overcut or undercut at the right time. You make one mistake on your pit stop and you could be a little bit further back than you'd like, because the trains run, the trains around here, they are 10, 15 cars long. You pit a little bit too late and you come out at the back of a train, you've got a lot of work to do. Or if you come out in front or in the middle of a train, you've also got to defend from very, very angry drivers behind trying to push forward.
Yeah, indeed. What do they typically do strategy-wise in this? Do they are we talking one stops?
Yes.
What's the dealio? Definitely one stop.
Yes, definitely. If you do a 2-stop, you're only doing that if there's a safety car early, then you could go medium. But yeah, you'll never do a 2-stop. If you make it work, there's some files in your PC you need to have a look at because you lose too much time. You can't really gain the time back.
Already starting with the whole checking files on the PC talk. Goodness me, well, Nathan Richards trying to get people in trouble.
Well, I'm not. I'm just saying if they can do a 2-stop and make it work, there's something going on. Unless there's a crash at the start and you've got a 20-second lead after turn 1, which I don't think is going to be the case at all.
Indeed.
But it could be, but I can't see that be very likely, considering that hopefully after about 3 seconds the cars have ghosted. If they're still ghosted after 3 seconds, you're a little bit worried.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But I am seeing certain people in chat. Am I sitting at the end of an endless chasm of purgatory? No, it's just a green screen. It's fine. I can stick whatever I want behind my head. I could even stick just a picture of Nathan Richards' face behind my head. That would be concerning.
No, it wouldn't be good. Please don't do it.
It's fine. It's fine.
See, as I said though, you look like a school teacher on a photo on their badges with the blue background.
But I mean, yeah, fair enough. I can't.
Music teacher though, with your headsets. That's a good thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not commenting on that. I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to comment. I'm going to focus on the race. I'm going to focus on who's going to win. I'm predicting. I'm jumping straight into it. I think Otis Lawrence is going to win this race.
You know what? Fair shout. And I'm going to go with, Barry Burman starts at the back, last to first. I'm going to, you've got to go a little bit ambitious sometimes. I think Barry from the back, like in a Ferrari, can do it. And we also want to know in the chat, guys, who you think will take the victory here in this race, because it's going to be a good one.
Yep, I'm pretty sure Henry Moore, who I have seen jumping in there,
Henry Moore
will probably drop an Otis Lawrence. Of course, the Formula Ford champion of the support series for the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, and such. So just a shout out.
Yeah, he's a brilliant man indeed. He's very quick in the Formula 4. It's not anything else, but golf.
And he likes golf.
Wow, that's another good thing. That's why Henry Moore always glazes you on Instagram then. That's why.
Absolutely. In fact, between us on Instagram, it is literally just, to be fair, it's me sending my golf shots. It's fine.
But I don't understand it, but you're not bad at golf. I'll give you that. You're not too bad, but I don't understand any of it.
Thank you. But no, who do we think is going to win? Drop it in. Tell me.
Oh, Fassi.
It's a good shout. He's quick. I think Tamas Gal's actually still. I know no one said it, but Tamas Gal's a really good shout because he's looking really quick around here. Just a bit of probably bad end to quali, to be honest.
Indeed. Well, he showed the laps in he showed the lap in Q2. He was going to be P4 on a Q3 grid, so he's got the pace to do it. So we'll see what he can do. And Diego says, Isma, of course, what a question. And we can see now the 5 lights coming on. So we had 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights here at Jeddah 4. The finale at the WOR Tier 1 Season 16 season. It gets underway and Otis ahead of Ismail Fassi. What a good start there from Otis Lawrence into turn 1. But Isma will fight back as they head in towards the break zone. Who will take the lead as they head into the first corner? Otis Lawrence keeps it. Isma tries to fight around the outside. Can't do anything as they head through towards turn 3. Down towards turn 4. And further back we can see already Reese Linton under pressure here from Ulasa Zildrim.
Yeah, it was Ulasa Zildrim trying to make that move up on Reese Linton, was unable to do so. So as they work their way through this snaking sector, it'll all be single file throughout the majority of our contingent. But look at Reese Linton on the soft tyre, desperate to try and make early progress on the back of Nicholas Longay.
Indeed, you can see as they head into turn 13 to the outside goes Reese Linton, keeps it round the outside as they head in towards the next part of the circuit, and Reese Linton gets a move done into P3. Goes Reese Linton now looking to close down on Ismail Fassi in second place. We can see further back Tamash Gal looking to make moves here. He's on the back of Ikebana. I think Alvaro Carton just hit the walls. He headed out at turn 15. That's going to really harm him. As you can see, the two of them here looking to fight him past in towards turn 22.
Yeah, a bit slow there from Bena, but that will be the move done from Tamash Gal. Obviously starting from 10th position, taking the soft tyres and going on the attack as best he can. Front of the field, though, it's still Otis Lawrence, but it might not be for too long as Fashi's going to get passed by Reese Linton before we even get down to 27. Was there going to be a look from the Mercedes? No, but I get the feeling that Reese Linton is heading towards the front of the field and will do so very soon.
Indeed, as they head side by side down in towards turn 1, Reese Linton with the inside line, of course, takes the fastest lap after the first lap of the race. Meaning he did have the lead crossing the line into turn 1, and the Mercedes is in the lead with Reese Linton, of course, not Jana Watmir, but it will be the Mercedes counterparts. Into P1 he goes. We can see further back Tom Manley's retired into the pit lane, so not a good start for him at all, and that's why he's out of the session. We can see here Alvaro Carton being overtaken by Cian Godendorp. He's now in the sandwich of the two Sabres. We can see ahead, obviously, Tamash Gal ahead of Ulasa Zildrim, and Declan Bout, what's happened to him? He's dropped all the way down the field. He's had a spin, or he's got involved into some contact, and he's at the back of the field. That is the last thing he'd want.
Yeah, big shame for the McLaren driver. Got to say there for Tom Manley, big shame. Had the chance of maybe getting inside the top 5 in the championship this afternoon. Alas, with that retirement, certainly not, and will probably lose out to Duncan Hoffman and Jake Benham in the champion. And hey, maybe even Alvaro Carton. So could be a bit of pain on the championship front there for Tom Manley, but that is sometimes how it goes. But yeah, I guess that's racing at the end of the day. Bit of a shame from Bayness, really struggling on pace.
He's indeed, and it's a big shame to see, as we can see there, all that was a little bit wide from Alvaro Carton. He's also having more issues here on the circuit. We can see Jake Benham on the medium tyres looking to make a move as they head down in towards the final corner. He's got a bit of a slipstream on the back of the Williams, but he's also got slipstream on the back of Cian Godendorp. So there we are, no move being made by Jake Benham, but he's got medium tyres. He should be quicker here than the likes of Alvaro Carton. And we can see at the front, Reese Linton not really extending that lead by too much at all to Otis Lawrence. Obviously, the DRS being enabled, so he's going to just try and defend, obviously, from the McLaren. We can see Declan Brown into bits, and Jake Benham making a bit of an ambitious send there into turn 1 and couldn't quite work out, and now loses time to Alvaro Carton and also loses time to Ruben Brigenio on the softs, looking to make a charge.
Poor look there from Benham. That just was never on going down into T1. Kind of had this half-hearted move. The problem with going for moves like that, you've either got to be fully committed or you don't go for it. This 50-50 of I'm going to kind of look but slightly back out of it, that's what causes the crash. So Benham might be a little bit lucky from all of that as he stares at the background, or the back wing rather, of the Williams of Alvaro Carton, trying to look for a potential move. Obviously, it's not just up the order where we've got the battles. There are some further down the order. Donoso defending from Presneda. Shinaka Clay trying to work up the order after disappointments from qualifying will be the next one to try and make a move on Boehner.
Indeed, we can see yet again, though, Jake Benham on the back of the Williams. Can he try and find a move? Probably not into here. Wouldn't be the good idea at all to make a move into this chicane, so we'll have to go for it down towards the final corner. He's got a good run on the back of the Williams now as they head down towards the final corner, but also Alvaro's got a decent run on the back of Cian Godendorp. Tamash Gal takes third away from Ismail Fassi. He's going to look to try and close in now on the back of Otis Lawrence, as both Cian and I think so. Sorry, both Alvaro and Jake making a move past Kian, but Kian's going to try and defend it on the inside at the end of the final corner. Alvaro's going to move over to try and keep him behind and help Jake Bennett get that move ahead, obviously on the medium tyres. Can he get the move done as they head down to turn one? No, because he's also blocked here and he has to go to the inside, switches over the back of the Sauber, and that could have caused contact further back. We can see nearly more contact being made as Ismail Fassi takes it away from Tamas Gal.
Yeah, indeed. Like you say, got these looks from various drivers as they try and find their way into the correct positions at the moment from them, courtesy of where they were at the start of the race. I mean, Tamas Gal started from 10th place, has already worked his way up into third. Otis Lawrence back into the race lead and out wide, big time, goes the McLaren of Otis Lawrence. There's Reese Linton straight back through, as is Tamas Gal. By the time they get into turn 13, I believe the Haas will be ahead.
Indeed, there. Very nice move from Tamas Gal to get himself back into, or I should say, first time getting himself into the top two on the grid. Both of them on the soft tyres, leading the way now ahead of Otis and Ismail Fassi. Ismail's looking to make a move as well. He's closing in on the back of the McLaren as they head out of the chicane in towards turn 22, 23 and 24 shortly. Once they get a little bit of DRS, will anyone be looking to make a move here? We can see DRS, battery-wise, sorry, they're both on pretty much 100%, so no one's going to lose out due to that. We'll see if Otis Lawrence can get a move down towards the final corner. He's got a good run on the back of Tamas Gal as they head down now in towards the final corner. He's going to see if he can pull to the outside maybe of the Haas. Does pull to the outside as they head into the braking zone, and now Reese Linton could be under a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, indeed. You've got that opportunity for Otis Lawrence to maybe come back through. To be fair, I think he might actually just want to sit on the rear end, play this race out, make sure you're looking after the tyres, make sure you're staying behind the two drivers that are on those soft compounds as Fassi's defending from Longuet. And to be fair, Otis Lawrence is going on the attack. There's one, there's two. I was talking about him being patient. The answer to that question was no. I want to take over the race lead, he says.
Brilliant there from Otis Lawrence to capitalise off those two on the soft, just not looking to make moves on each other at all, to keep behind for DRS, of course, and now Otis looking to try and stretch that gap a little bit more to Tamas and Reese Linton. We can see Ismail Fassi pushing the Mercedes through into towards the end of that first sector. He's looking to get himself a little bit more dialed down onto pace. We can see as well Louis Zildrim on the back of Nicolas Longuet. Nico's going to look for a move into turn 13 ahead of the Williams. Can he get the move done up the inside? He goes, keeps it to the inside. Ismail's going to try and hold it round the outside. They go side by side on the exit in towards turns 14 and 15. We'll see who can get the move done, but I don't think Nico's alongside enough.
No, that was brilliant bit of racing though. Hand waved in the air by the animated man, and Fassi's just able to hang on. That was amazing bit of racing. It's so hard to leave the space going through 13, especially as you kind of wash up towards the wall. So brilliant racing between the pair of them. But now is Otis Lawrence trying to check out already? Do the soft tyres, do they go off that quickly? Surely around here, no.
No, well, it doesn't normally look like that, but it seems so far they've gone off quite quickly. Or maybe the back of, you can see here, Tamas Gal has also lost a bit of pace, because we can see Reese Linton right on his rear as they head down towards the final corner. We can see yet again, though, Nicolas Longuet looking to push after Ismail Fassi. Couldn't find a move there into the final corner. He'll have to go for it down to turn one. Of course, we can see further back there, Barry Burman looking for a move, and there's nearly going full wide on the exit to the final corner. We'll see what happens here. Shannon Claire leading them down to turn one, and that's going to be Hoffler looking to make a move. They're going full wide into turn one.
This is getting very crazy indeed. Like you say, it was an awkward exit there, straight around the outside of Shanaka Clay, who goes into Van Pookie. Barry Burman in the middle of all of this, trying to squeeze his way past on the exit of T2 as they work their way down this short shoot down into the fast left-hander. It gets really narrow down here. You can't go side by side. Boehner having the struggles right now as Duncan Hoffland's trying to squeeze his way through into the S's.
Oh, what a move there by Duncan Hoffland. Goes deep, though. He hits that curve, and that's lost him some time. That allows now for Egan to try and gain him, but also Donoso looking to make a move here. We know this is for the bottom of the grid, but this goes all the way up in towards the battle for Brown P12, and we can see there Donoso couldn't quite get the move done. But a brilliant effort indeed from the three of those guys, making a good battle. Working, luckily, no one getting into much of contact whatsoever. We can see further ahead, though, Ulas Zildrim looking to close in on the back of Nicolas Longuet. Nico, we know, has been looking to get a move ahead of Ismail Fassi, but he's got himself ahead of Reese Linton. So now the softs looking like they're done up already, but that's not a good sign.
No, indeed. I will say, by the way, this is the kind of racing that you get, especially lower down in the championship. When the title race is over, you're not really playing for anything else. You know, Jarno Opmir's already won the championship. It's all about everyone else fighting for those lower positions and maybe just wanting to end the season on a high. It's where you get these crazy moves. A look to the outside from Reese Linton, trying to go back on the attack. Fazius Donoso's retired. Safety car's out.
He's retired on the straight there. I'm not sure what's happened, but yeah, he's retired on the straights, and they're all... Oh, now that's not good for Otis and Ismail, is it?
No, indeed. Staying out on those hard tyres. Everyone else bailing into the pit lane. Yeah, I mean, look, if they pit now, they're going to be dropped down the order. But
Yeah.
this is where you can maybe get that free pit stop. But you can't. Can you take mediums to the end from here?
It'll be medium, I think, here from this point. I don't think they can take the
Really?
mediums that long. They might do, but I don't think it's going to be that possible. So we'll see what Otis and Ishmael can do, but they've got a lot of work cut out for them. And, well, I don't think they will go to the end because Jake Benham and Ikebana onto the set of the soft. So they're looking to go for maybe a soft-medium strategy here in this race. So, interesting, but we'll see if they can make it work. So now they all come back ahead. They all come back out the pits in the same positions they was before, apart from Ulas Azildrim having to pit with Tamas Gal has lost him a little bit of time here.
Yeah, indeed. Guys, I'd say it's so frustrating when you're on there just at the wrong place at the wrong time when the safety car comes out. But thankfully, the rest of the field, in a sense, thankfully for them, they were able to come straight back into the pit lane. So you'll say for Otis Lawrence and Ismail Fassi that there's maybe they're really on the back foot here. I think they may just go for just commit to this. That it's not ideal, but just commit to this. If you know everyone else is going to stop once, then you just kind of accept that and you stop once as well.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see what they can do, but obviously I'm not sure what happened to Dano. So he's crashed, but he was on the straight, so it's a little bit weird for you to have a crash, but he's obviously gone for a move somewhere, or someone's gone for a move on him, and it's kind of just backfired, and it's like, yeah, hello, Wall, I'm going to be inside of you now. So big shame, of course, for Donoso to end his race in such a harmful way, especially on a track on the pace of the circuit where you don't see crashes happen that often. But yeah, Otis and Isma are going to be in a bit of trouble, because even though these guys are now on a 2-stop behind, possibly, they're going to pass Otis and Isma easily because they're on old hards. These are on brand new mediums, and in the case for Jake and Ika, brand new softs. So, it's gonna be hard. They've got a lot of work to do, but then again, you can't count them out because we've seen it happen before. And Otis decided to pit.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Well, like I said, I know it's been pointed out as well, and we were kind of aware of this. The reason why Fassi and Otis Lawrence didn't come into the pit lane wasn't out of choice. They were past the commitment line when the safety car was called, so they did not have a choice in that. But I'm kind of surprised that Otis Lawrence came into the pit lane, because your choice there is either well, you're picking which bad strategy you want, whether you want to start from the rear of the field on the same tyres basically as everyone else, or whether you want to start from the front on older, worn, harder tyres. And potentially, but pitting is realistically it's the better option, but I don't know, you've got a lot of work to do from there.
Yeah, they have, and I think the thing is, with this strategy now being open a bit more, some of them might have new soft tyres, so maybe we could see a medium soft from some of these guys, depending on what they want to do. So this race could still be chucked upside down when we get the second round of pit stops, because we will. Well, I think we know that we'll get a second round of pit stops, even for a few drivers, and we can see who else went on the soft. I think it was it Ikebana, who's now pitted onto a set of hard tyres. Barry Burmand are also pitted now onto a set of the medium, so them having some last-minute changes on what they want to do for their strategy. But they was near the back, so it doesn't matter that much anyway. So it'll be Ishmael Fassi that leads the way on the old hard tyres, but he's got to be careful not to get involved in some kind of crash, because all those behind are going to be looking to get ahead because they'll be so much quicker and they don't want to be held up here.
Yeah, exactly. So I say, well, I don't know what the right position is to be in. Like, if you're, I want to be in Jake Benham's point of view, right? Because he's on the softs. That's kind of where I'd want to be. I know the softs were dropping off, but I like the idea of going on the attack, pitting, and then going on to the mediums. You're going to have to go onto the mediums anyway, but why not have a little bit of fun before you do so?
Yeah, well, the thing is with Jake, obviously, if he can get himself up the field, if he can get himself maybe into that top 5, makes a pit stop, the others also make a pit stop, he's not in a bad position. Remember, he started down in pit, I think it was P13, I think, Jake Benham's side. So, it wouldn't be the worst thing to get himself in towards that top 5. But the safety car is in this lap. They head down to the final corner. Let's see, when does Ishmael Fassi choose to go?
He's going to wait, isn't he? He's going to wait for that right time. It's going to be really tricky for him to hold on to the race lead for any particular length of time, but he might even get dived down into T1 by Tamas Gao, who did start from 10th place, remember.
Of course, and Tamish will be looking to take the lead into that first corner. He looks to be on the back of the Williams. He pulls along with that ERS, of course, as they head into the braking zone. Goes for the move. Ishmael goes deep. He's trying to hang it around the outside. Bit of contact between the two, and Tamish go nearly into the wall there as they head out turn 1 and 2. Into turn 4 they go, and if Reese Linton also looking to get himself through, he's behind the back of the Williams, and that's key. If Tamish can maybe help, if Ishmael can hold up all those behind, Tamish will get a good lead.
That's beautiful. That was a lovely move from Tamash Gal. Great stuff from Fazio to try and just kind of keep them at bay, but was unable to do so. Tamash Gal through. I think Reese Linton will fly past down at T13. Inside or outside should work for the Mercedes. Looks back to the outside, the defensive line coming in from the Williams, and straight around the outside. Reese Linton is going to go. That is a very important move.
Indeed, look at that gap though, 7 tenths now between Tamash and Reese. We can see Nicholas Longue looking to gain in and make a move here for P3. He's on the back now of the Williams, along with his teammate Alvaro Carton, who's looking to also get ahead of the Williams car. And you can see there Nicholas Longue not hanging around at all. Gets the move done to the inside there as they head through towards turn 20, and he'll now be in the top 3, looking to close into the rocks of Reese Linton and Tamash Gar. We can see as well further back Alvaro Carton there, not really being fought by his teammate whatsoever. And now Ruben Bradronio also looking to get a move done as well as I head to turn 27. This could get a little bit snappy because Keen Gunnerup's also looking for a way through into the final corner. Who makes move who where? And we can see there it'll be Alvaro ahead of Ruben, ahead of Keen, ahead of Ismail.
Yeah, that was almost quite sketchy from Ruben Pedreño. Was looking to make it 3 wide potentially. Benham not making the advantages on those soft tyres as maybe we'd expect. He's only really got past Patrick, but this could be the big one for him to the inside of Golden Dog. Whoa, that's a big send from Kelson, and it sends the entire field round.
Well, that was a rather a big send there from Daniel indeed. I think that was a little bit too much of a send in towards turn number 1, and now that's damage there for Philip. Philip's got damage into turn 4. He hit the outside wall, and he's done now, I think. Here, just letting the last 2 through, and he can continue on. Big shame for Philip Preschneider, who was looking at one point to be fighting for that top 10, and that could be his race, truly over here at this point. We can see, obviously, Duncan Hoffland also looking for a move here on the back of Isfan Pukki. They heading towards turn 13. He looks for a move. Couldn't do so there, but Ishmael Fassi, look at that gap now, 1.1 seconds. Pukki needs to make a move, or he could be in a really terrible situation once the DRS is open next lap.
That was very poor from Kjelton down into the first corner as there's more going straight over. That's Duncan Hoffland rejoining, dropping the position to Otis Lawrence as well as picking up some track limit excursions and time penalties to go with it. Shanaka Clay going to try and get past Otis Lawrence as well. Declan Barrett on his return up the order. Barry Burman's not quite made the progress from the back of the field either. I would have expected a little bit more progress over that first stint and maybe even taken advantage of that safety car. Was unable to do so. He's got some big squeezes coming in from Mr. Van Pookie.
Indeed, as Otis Lawrence now into 9th, and he was at the back of the grid 1 second ago, so very nice here from Otis Lawrence. Now looking to be on the back of Isfan Pukki as they head down towards turn number 1. DRS has been enabled in this lap, and Ishmael Fassi has had enough. He's into the pits off of his set of hard tyres. 10 laps he did on those. He'll be onto a set of mediums.
He was too fast in the pit lane as well, so he's made a bad situation worse as the Williams driver. Speeding in the pit lane on the way in, so he gets a 5-second penalty for that one. Bosh.
And it'll be mediums, of course, for the Williams. What a shame this has been. So it's 8 seconds now total penalties for Ishmael Fassi in this race. He was fighting for the top 2 positions, and now all the way at the back of the grid. We can see, though, further back, Alvaro Carton looking to close in here and make a move ahead of Nicholas Longue. Barry Burman into the top 11 there. He's just made a move ahead of Ika and Duncan Hoffland as they head down in towards turn number 13. So Barry could be on for a strategy here to get himself into some decent points. But also, you've got to think, Declan Barrett, Ika Baynett, Shanaka Clay on the hard, they're going to go to the end surely.
Yeah, I mean, they're throwing something strategically at this. They're going to give something a go, whether it's the right thing or wrong thing. Again, we'll find out once we reach the 25th and final lap of proceedings here in Saudi Arabia. The important thing, though, when we were looking at the Longue-Carton battle, and Carton will be well aware of this, and to be fair, Longue should be as well on the rear end of Reese Linton, is to make sure that you don't fight unnecessarily. If you're going to go for a move, make sure you get through pass immediately without wasting time, because Tamash Gal, thankfully they've not fought too hard, but there was that risk that Gal might have been able to check away into the distance if you fought too hard.
Indeed, and luckily, obviously, for Reese Linton's sake, he's right behind the back of the Haas at this current time. We can see further back again, Otis Lawrence looking to gain in here on the back of Isfan Pukki, who's done a decent job in the AlphaTauri so far. Obviously part of the Ferrari team, but in this season he's been in the AlphaTauri all season long. He's doing a decent job. He's caught a few DNS, but that's more out of rage rather than actually crashing. If he has one mistake, sometimes he's been eager to just to click the retire from session button and kind of get on with his day without having to race. And here tonight, he's in the points, so could be looking to get himself a decent race underway. We can see obviously Otis looking to catch on, and also Shanaka Clay getting away from Barry Burman. That's key.
Man, you're just outing the RQ Kings, the Alt F4ers among us. Which, to be fair, I say that I'm not that bad at, but sometimes I am. I think I hit Alt F4 Aiders out of the race, but that would be in the pit lane. Got a penalty for speeding going into the pit lane, and also bailed from it there. So no safety car will be required. I used to be a bit of an Alt F4er, but you can't do it in things like Rocket League, which does really help. Because I know I've spammed Alt F4 in Rocket League. Doesn't work.
Really?
Yep, doesn't work.
Well, that's a good thing for the game. Not for you, though, when you want to leave.
No, absolutely not. No, I'm not a controller thrower, though, so we're okay.
Yeah, that could be even worse, couldn't it? If you're going to throw the controllers. We can see Swampuka there making a lunge in towards turn number 27. Could make the move ahead of Kian, but he went for it easily in towards that corner. We can see, though, further ahead now, and move's going to be made down to turn 1. We've got Reese Linton looking to get ahead of the Haas. Does get ahead of the Haas. What about Nicholas Longay? Can he make a move into turn 1? No, he can't. As we saw Otis Lance there move quite aggressively over to the left there, so I'm not sure if he was looking to just get out of the way and cool down his engine, hence why he didn't look for any move at all on the back of Istvan Pukki. But these cars are getting closer and closer as laps get on.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Otis Lawrence obviously has a lap fresher tyres than others. Oh, my goodness me. It's fantastic. And he's out of the race as well. Came into the pit lane to get another, or I think he was trying to retire and just didn't really care about the speed limit in pit lane. Had already sped in pit lane once, I think. Said day was done, and there is an Alt F4 if ever you've seen one.
Yeah, indeed. And to be fair, I think Shanaka Clay is on a really good strategy. Honestly, he's on 6-lap old hards. He'll take those hards, 18 laps by the end of this race. It's possible to do. So to be fair, Shanaka Clay could be looking for a win here, possibly. I don't know jinx it, but it could be.
You're 100% sure you can't go all the way to the end of the mediums?
It's going to be hard because Shanaka Clay will be way quicker, like really quick.
Right. Towards the end, yeah, I'm with you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's kind of one of those ones. It's so easy to be like, oh well, Shanaka Clay's on the right strategy at the moment because everyone else is going to have to pit as Tamas Gow and Reese Linton switch positions ever so slightly for the race lead, and everything gets a little bit tight coming down into the 27th and final corner. But yeah, this is where running strategy, you've just got to play the long game. Whatever strategy you're on, you just need to commit to it full and wholeheartedly. Going the 50-50 strategy never works.
Indeed, as this on Puka there, making a move into turn 1 ahead of Key and Ruben, making a move ahead of Ulas. They're still going to go side by side on the exit of the corner as they head through into turn number 4. Who's going to get ahead here? This is going to be a close one, isn't it? Into turn 4 side by side. Oh, it's going to be close. Off the track goes Ulas. Ruben gets the move completed on the back of the house. Brilliant from him indeed. And also Otis and Key going side by side through the middle part of that first sector. That could have ended in contact, but luckily they all make it through. And this one Puka out down to P9.
Yeah, indeed. There's a bit of a shame for Istvan Pukki, but just watch out for him to come straight back through. He's looking to the outside, looking straight back to the inside of Gundorp and trying to commit to it, coming down into 13, and will almost just about fully clear by the time they get on the exit. But the advantage should be with the Alfa Romeo on the exit, but the squeeze into the barrier, a little bit naughty there, got to be said.
Indeed there, and Istvan still keeps that position ahead of Keane, of course, and you could see Keane at one point was pretty much in the barrier as they headed in towards turn number 14, and now that allows Shanaka Clay to look to make a move and gain in at least to the back of the Sober as they head in towards the final part of that second sector, and Shanaka Clay, his pace is getting better and better. He's just got to hope he can make moves at the right time and not use too much of his battery. He's already on the back of the Keane already as they head down towards the final corner. He's going to go to the outside line on the hards versus a set of the mediums. Can he get the move done? He brakes later, tries to hook it round the outside. He's going to get on the exit. It's going to be close and couldn't quite get it on. They make contact! Big contact between Keane and Shanaka, and luckily they both make it out safe. And that was a bit of an auto tap there from Keane as they head in towards a pit lane. Big shame for Godendorp, and I believe he's got damage.
Yep, straight into the pit lane then, unfortunately for Keane Godendorp, but big shame for Shanaka Clay. That's why you've always got to leave a space. Around here when you've got barriers and walls and stuff, the whole thing of, oh, it's my corner, I'm Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton, I'm just going to slap you off the road. It doesn't work around here because the barrier is there to greet you and you will both end up in it. So, yeah, got to say, bit of a shame there for Shanaka Clay, but Keane Godendorp was should have given more room.
Yeah, indeed. I think that was quite a close one, but I think Keane might have been to blame there. Little room left for Shanaka Klein, hence why the tyres hooked on the cars went sideways as they obviously went down towards turn number 1. But we can see more moves being made, more battles, this time between Otis and Ulash and Ruben Pedreño as they head down now towards turn 22. Otis is looking to get a move here on the back of Ulash, it seems, and also Ruben on the back of Alvaro Carreton. He's pretty much less than a tenth off the back of the Williams, but he can't find a move into there. It's not ideal to try and make a move into there either. We could see them make a move down towards the final corner, because also Otis on the back here of Ulash, they could also be looking to swap round here.
Yeah, indeed. This is where, like, again, you need to be a little bit strategic. As much as you're in a battle with, 6 other guys for the race victory, you've got to be a bit strategic as to how and when you make the move. There's a look down the inside. Ulasha Yildirim was trying to get a move done, has a big squirm on the exit, is going to lose the position to Otis Lawrence, who actually kind of backs out of it just a touch. Plenty of slipstream running down into the first corner. Anyone switching positions at the moment? A look to the inside from Reese Linton, who could have gone for a move for the race lead, but does not want to lead right now. It remains in the hands of Tamas Gao.
Of course, and we also saw them for a second. Ulas looking to make a move on the back of Ruben Pedreño in towards turn 1, but he couldn't make that work, so he backed off, heading out of that first couple of corners. We can see, though, still leading the races, Tamas Gall, of course, ahead of Reese Linton and Nicholas Longo, who we haven't really spoke about for the past few laps, because he just kind of sat there and just kind of toddled along behind the back of the top 2, and also just kept himself a healthy distance ahead of Alvaro in P4. We can see as well Ulas once again looking to gain in on the back of Ruben, but Ruben still keen to get ahead of Alvaro, but he just can't find a move ahead. He can't get himself into an opportunity to make himself into that top 4, but he's pushing the Williams through pretty much every corner on this lap.
Yeah, but this is the whole thing of it's whether you want to actually make the move right now, and that sounds stupid, right? But there is a strategic game as to how and when you make the moves. Like I said before, Reese Linton could have taken over the race lead on a few occasions thus far. Hasn't gone for it, and that's because it's playing the longer game. It's about waiting for the right time to take the race lead, saving the energy, making sure you're not using it so that you've got enough of it to burn. And it is the same for those in the middle of the pack as well. It's really a really tricky juggling act.
Of course it is, and we can see further back there yet again the Haas and the Alpine looking to make moves, but obviously this time yet again Ulas can't find a move ahead. We can see though Alvaro Carreton looking to gain in on the back of Nico Longe, Reese Linton still on the back of Tamas Gall. Pit stops being made by Istvan Pukki and Barry Burman there, so they're both going for probably a set of softs to take those to the end of this race. That's interesting. We've got what, 8 laps to go here, and we're going to have other people on the set of the soft or medium side for Barry to try and push a little bit more forward. This could be an interesting strategy here.
Yeah, indeed. They're kind of going a little bit early, trying to get a bit of the undercut. Whether that will work too much, I don't really know. I don't think they're actually losing too much time with the age of these tyres right now. Riding on board with Otis Lawrence. Going to go for a little bit of a look. Still, you can see by how much battery he's got left. It's not. It could have been a little bit more. There was contact there. Might actually get 2 here, going through 13. Oh, it's going to be a crash.
It's going to be close, and it was very close there, but Ruben keeps himself ahead. Otis to the outside, it'll be the inside at turn 14 ahead of Ulash, and he gets the move done. Brilliant there from Otis Lawrence, but Ulash has got it on the exit to head down towards turn 22. He's going to look for a move here on Otis. Surely not. No, he sits back for now on the back of the McLaren, but that was close to contact between all of them, and I think there was easily contact, especially in towards that banked left-hander. They'll head now out of turn 24, heading down towards turn 27. We'll see here. Ikebana still on a decent strategy here. He could be looking for some good points.
And someone did say in chat earlier on, Ikebana will win this race. Mark my words. Can't remember who you are. I will go back and look at some point, especially if they are victorious. Anyone going to bail for the pit lane this time, like we've seen from the contingent behind, like Istvan Pukki, Barry Burman, and of course Jake Benham and Godendorp?
No, they all stay out. Yeah, interesting there that no one decided to pit at all, and we can see Pedreño on the back of Alvaro Carreton goes to the inside at turn 1. Ooh, slight bit of contact there, slight bit of wheel rubbing through turns 2 and 3. Down to turn 4 they go. It's the inside line, of course, for Alvaro, and still Ruben can't find a way through, but we know now he's keen to get ahead of the Williams, but he just needs to try and maybe look for it a bit. Oh, that was Otis looking for a move down to turn 7. That isn't ideal. No,
indeed. You don't want to go for a move through here. It's just far too tight. Very much is a one-line section, and you can't do anything. Yes, a bit of a brush there. By the way, it was Tolga Akalin. Was the person that said it a little bit, quite a bit earlier on, to be perfectly honest, that Ikebana was going to win this race. So keep an eye out on that, I guess.
Yeah, maybe he will, maybe he won't. We'll see what happens. He's got a 3/10 gap, of course, too. Ulash still in P8, or P7, I should say. And these cars, every single lap, are getting closer and closer to the outside walls. Someone's going to hit it eventually, and there's going to be a safety car. Honestly, that's going to happen at this point, because they've got that close at some point. You're thinking they're going to tap the wall. If not, you're already thinking they're hitting the wall at certain parts on the circuit. But we can still see at the top, nothing really changing. Tamash still leading ahead of Reese, ahead of Nicholas Longa in third. We can see, obviously, Caraton still in fourth. He keeps looking to make a move on Nico, but can never find a move on Nico, of course. And we can see further back again, Nico Boehner looking to get closer here to Ulash. Maybe that's the switch now for the mediums to the hards. The hard looking quicker, hence why Ika's looking to possibly make a move here into turn one. He's going to gain, but he's not quite got the straight line speed to get it done.
Yeah, but surely if any of these drivers want to come into the pit lane, they want to do it fairly sharpish. You can tell they don't want to go for the move because of how they're going down the start-finish straight, right? They're not going in single file where you'd be picking up the majority of the slipstream. They're pulling out of the slipstream immediately and effectively treating it almost looks like a formation lap in a sense. Mr. Van Pookie sets the fastest lap of the race, showing that fresh mediums are, of course, faster. I don't know, from what I'm seeing here, I've got a vibe that this lot are going to try and go for the end. Even though it might be the worst strategy, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to go for it now, because they're all copying the same strategy. They're all going to go to the end on these medium tyres. We can see further back, of course, Shanika Clay there, looking to get a move on Duncan Hoffman. Big shame for him to get caught up earlier on in an incident. Obviously, that was with Kean Godendorp. He looks to get away unscathed damage, but still a little bit further down than he was previously. We can see, of course, Ruben on the back of Havro once again further back. We can see Declan Barrett looking to make moves. He's in P9, just behind the back of Ika Bain. And obviously, with him, they've got Duncan and Shanika fighting behind for P10 and P11. Obviously, Duncan with the penalty means that Shanika gets the move anyway, but you're never certain that if the penalties are actually legit. Sometimes they're not.
That is a fair point. Otis Lawrence, who we're looking at here, of course, has worked his way up now to 6th position. Had to pit under the last safety car. Has led a lot of laps today and has looked really fast today. Of course, with that pole position is whoa, my goodness me, Longa trying to go straight through the middle of Tamash Gow and Reese Linton.
Yeah, someone's got damage there. I saw a bit of front wing flying off someone's car. I think it might be. It's the Ferrari who's got damage. Nicholas Longa has got damage here. As they head back to turn one, will he look to make a move for P2? He goes to the inside, but backs off at the last second. Not sure what happened, but obviously hit the back of the Mercedes and got himself a little bit of front wing damage here for Nico. He's going to drop back. This is not good at all for the Ferrari, and also not good for Alvaro Caraton, who's stuck behind him.
Yeah, indeed. So Caraton probably is well aware of that, or at least that someone ahead has damage to the front wing. And there you go. You can see the difference. Now he'll be well aware as to who it is who's got the front wing damage. And you can see that gap's gone out to down to over a second just in that S's section alone. Yeah,
and you can see there, Otis Lawrence and Ulash are looking to make moves as well, but they can't do anything ahead of the Ferrari as they head into turn 13. Otis around the outside, but Nico's there to block him off. He goes back to the inside as they head through the corner. Nico's going to be defending in towards turn 14. This could get very scrappy here as Nico will defend it. He keeps to the inside. They head into the braking zone. Who gets ahead? It will be Otis ahead of Nico, and then Nico's gone wider. Lewin Ulas to try and make a move on the exit of the corner. They head down towards turn 22. Obviously, we can see Ulash ahead of Nico. Ike looking to get a move. As we can see further back, actually, Tamash and Reese have swapped. They're going to try and keep that gap to Alvaro, I think, here.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, Reese Linton now our race leader. Alvaro Caraton 1 second behind the back of Tamash Gow, who's looking to go straight back down the inside in the DRS. I think they're doing the whole cycling peloton type thing where they're switching over positions, maybe more of a team time trial type vibe to keep that their opponents at bay. Big shame for Nicholas Longa, but great side-by-side action there. And to be fair, great car control. It'd be so easy to overdrive the corner and basically take the likes of Otis Lawrence out. Once again, a switch for the race leaders. Reese Linton will head back to the front, but now that rest of the field, they are there as more contact from Longa.
Indeed, yeah, hitting the back there of the Haas car. We've got Ika Bainer on the outside, and Nico looking to make a move now up the inside at turn number 4. He's got the inside line, gets himself ahead easily of the Ferrari, but goes deep. He goes very deep there, which has lost him lots of time to the top pack, and we can see Declan Barrett now looking to make a move ahead of Nicholas Longa as they head through and towards the end of that first set to Duncan Hoffman, slotting in behind as well. Behind Declan Barrett, of course, and we'll see where does Nico come out in all of this. He's going to be ahead of Barrett. Barrett's going to go to the outside, so is Duncan Hoffman. They go 3-1 into turn 13, and Declan gets 1. Can he get 2? He certainly can. Brilliant there from Duncan Hoffman to get himself into P8, and also Nico still defending from Duncan Hoffman, but Hoffman surely going to get ahead before turn 14. Yes, he does. Brilliant move from the Aston Martin.
Got to say though, it's so brave trying to get around the outside of Nicolas Longuet going through 13. It's like trying to do some multi-class endurance racing, taking a hypercar around the outside of a GT3 going through a fast corner. It's so risky to do so because those GT3s wash out, and that's no. And Longuet with a lack of grip on the front end would do exactly the same thing in that car. We look now at Otis, Lawrence, Pedreno now ahead, Caraton, Gao, and then Linton in your race lead. This pack is right together. Look at this from Lawrence.
Makes a massive send, gets a bit of contact there, gets some damage, I think possibly someone did, it looks like, for a second, but they head 3 wide out of turn number 27, down towards turn 1 they go, and it's going to be Ruben on the inside line, Alvaro on the outside, I notice in the middle of them all, and Ruben could be looking to try and take lead into turn 1, he goes for a late same bit of contact nearly between a few of them, and that's going to be Alvaro off the road on the exit turn 1, he gets a penalty to go with that as well. Otis back down to P5, Ruben gets the inside line ahead of Alvaro, and into P3 goes the Alpine. Remember last week, he also got a podium, so Ruben looking in fine form here tonight in Jeddah.
Yeah, indeed. Like I say, this is very sketchy. Some really tricky moments in all of that. Otis Lawrence was not able to pounce, and there goes straight on, getting beached on one of the curves. Pedreno's
it's right into the wall!
And he's now in the barrier. That could be a safety car. It is going to be a safety car, surely.
It will be.
Too late.
It's out. Yeah, safety car's out on lap 22. Whew. That was something, wasn't it, Lewis?
Is that the end of the race?
It's going to be... No, it will go in for lap 25. Oh, this is going to be... Well, it either goes in lap 25 or it does one lap and that's it. Because the safety car's out, but it just hasn't come up on my screen, which is worrying.
No, Michael, it's not right, or whatever it was. Like I say, bit of a shame. That was some hard racing in there. That was some really, really hard racing in there. A bit of a shame there from Pedreno, but 5 retirements now from the race. I mean, it was exciting, at least.
Lewis, you cannot tell me that wasn't a curse.
It wasn't a curse. There's no... Sorry. No, okay. Just to clarify, the commentator's curse doesn't exist. The things that exist is bad luck, which is a thing, and bad driving. I think that comes very much under the second category, does it not?
Yeah, well, I suppose you got a good point there. And now, do they pit? Yes, they do. Oh, yeah, Ulas.
Big tyres.
Ulas is a bit done here, I think, maybe. We'll watch the Haas go to the pit lane. And, he's got a bit of a tap there from Ika. Ika's going to try and make a move into the pit lane. We know that's legal. And Nicolas Longuet, damage, mediums versus softs.
Yeah, I think surely we'll still pit again.
Oh, it's a 3 Ferraris that stays out. Istvan and Barry join him along. So are they going to try and hold up those to allow Nico to win here? Imagine.
Yeah. I mean, look, these drivers, they've been on... I was going to say maybe they're like, maybe the safety car will stay out. Or maybe they'll, wave round some lapped cars and suddenly we'll have a chaotic final race that shouldn't have ever happened. Blah, 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 that's fun. But no, they will be well aware as to how long the safety car will be out for at this point. Like, yeah, they're well versed with this. They've raced it. Too much. So I'm a bit confused by that strategy call, if I'm honest. But...
we'll see.
Was it surely Longuet staying out? The reason why I have a problem with it is that's dangerous.
Yeah, but
that's a damaged car with really old tyres.
But I feel like Istvan and Barry will be trying to defend Tamas and those down because obviously they're also part of Ferrari. If you want to ask about strategy, ask Jonah. He's in the chat now, saying that even before Barry and Istvan could have caught up. That's what he said, but we'll never know. We've got a safety car to end off this race, so we'll see what the two Ferraris, obviously being in second and third, can do to help Nico look to be triumphant here in Jeddah. But Tamas, Reese, Otis are going to be looking to get themselves ahead. Those at the back, I don't think they can make much work there. They're in 14th in one lap. Are they going to get to the front? Probably not, because they're all on the same tyres.
Surely it will be like they'll reverse it quite quickly, like down into T1. It'll be Longuet the one that's holding them all up because he's the one with a damaged car. It makes more sense to have Istvan Buki and Barry Burman first and second, and then have Longuet slow them up going through the S's section. It won't take us too long to figure this all out because the safety car's coming in. So we're going to have 2 laps of what I can only imagine are going to be crash-happy, chaotic, drama-filled racing.
Yes, we'll see what happens. There'll be many angry drivers in the Discord later, and Jonas says it's orange for Nico. So yeah, he's got heavy damage on that Ferrari. We'll see what happens as we can get the time on screen off the board for a second, so we can see them heading towards the final couple of corners now. We can see them all weaving around. Nico will lead them off down towards turn 1, of course, ahead of Istvan, ahead of Barry Burman, and then Tamas Gell on the softs, looking to get a win here tonight. I said he'd win it. Maybe he will. We'll see what... No, sorry, I said Barry would win it, so maybe Barry can win it still. Actually, that might not be a bad prediction. But the head away down towards turn 1, we can see already Isfan and Barry looking to make a move ahead of Nico into turn 1. This is going to be brilliant by the Ferrari team. Possibly as they head into the first corner. We can see further back as well recently. There's contact! Oh, dear me. And the two Ferraris come together.
0 out of 10. Absolute brain fade and all that. And now Barry Burman is going to have to defend from all the likes behind with more worn tyres. How long's this going to last? Reese Linton having Otis Lawrence fly around the outside as Tamas Gow's looking for the race lead.
He's indeed out of the first sector now, down towards turn 13. Tamas Gow, bit of contact for a slight second, and Otis Lawrence comes through. To the outside he goes on the Haas. He goes to the inside for Barry, and Otis Lawrence takes the lead.
Yeah, I said he'd win, but we're not done yet. We're not quite there, but that'll be a big one. Barry Burman dropping down the field. Tamas Gow and Reese Linton going side by side up towards the fast right-hander. It's so tricky to navigate that one of the best of times. When you've got a bit of side by side in there, it's very tricky indeed. It's 3/4 of a second for the race lead of the penultimate lap.
Indeed, they head down towards turn 22 once again, and it's Tamas obviously defending here from from Ika, Ulash and Barry as well. Barry's a little bit further back, so he won't get involved whatsoever in this race up now. What can Ulash and Zildjian do? Can he look to make a move ahead of Ika Boehner? They head down towards the final corner. Can he get a move? No, he can't. He's going to have to go to the outside line. Of course, no DRS for the drivers, and he goes to the inside line. Goes Ulash. Can he make the move work? He's going to go. He's going to keep it to the inside. They go on the exit. Power down as they head down towards turn 1. I think here, Ulash might have it done with the inside line.
And Ika Boehner is obviously doing a bit of a squeeze here. Fastest lap coming in from Otis Lawrence there. No real shock to that one. Little bits of brushes between them. Plenty of side-by-side behind. Ulas Zildjian gets his way down. Ika Boehner goes straight on a little bit before rejoining, as we'll see all of this. Barry Burman struggling for grip and is going to be jettisoned outside of the points as Longuet retires. And Barry Burman will as well, potentially.
Yeah, and Barry's round on the at the end of the first sector. Sorry, though, at the end of turn 4 there. Big Sham is retired on the circuit. Has Barry Burman is gone from maybe, brilliant to really, really poor for Ferrari here in this race. And we can see as well there, Ulash getting past Tamas Gell there as Shanika Clay gets a 5-second penalty for cutting the corner. So that's also even worse for his race as well. Oh, it's getting even worse and worse for me drivers here on this grid at the moment.
Terrible.
Only 12 finishers here in this race. But what can Reese Linton do? Can he try and get a move ahead of here of Otis Lawrence? Because he's gaining in. Battery-wise, it's pretty much equal.
Yeah, he's only really got one opportunity, which is down to 27, or rather 17, as normal corner numbers, that is. 27, you've got Slipstream, you've got DRS, but Otis Lawrence surely can easily defend this just by holding the inside line down into 27.
He can, but Reese Linton's going to try and push. Can he get the move done into the final? And it crashed. Oh my goodness. The audio crashed out, but Otis Lawrence wins ahead of Reese, ahead of Ulas. Well, brilliant.
Top 10. I was genuine. I was going to jump in there a little bit, but that was a crazy race and bit of a shame there for a lot of our contingent, but a great race from Otis Lawrence and a very well-deserved victory. Driver of the day, Kelton. I don't think so with that move into T1, but that's fine. We'll allow it. Yep. Otis Lawrence, fantastic.
Honestly, that couldn't have gone worse. The audio cut out at the final quarter. The mic had an issue, and he went beep beep, and nothing come through. So we missed it all. Brilliant.
0 out of 10.
Oh dear me. Well, at least we got to see the action on the screen. It will be, of course, Otis Lawrence who wins ahead of Reese Linton in second. Ulash Zildjian rounding out the podium. Brilliant from him, of course. And then Tamas Gell from 10th finishes in P4. And then we have Ika Boehner, Daniel Kjelsen in P6, Declan Barrett in 7th, Alvaro Croton in 8th, Jake Benham 9th, and Kian Godendorp in P10, followed by Duncan Hoffman, Shanika Clay, Barry Burman. Oh no, so now this is the retirees. Barry, Isfan, Nico, Ruben, Ishma, Philip, and Fabrizio, and Tom.
It's more than one. There are a few retirements from this race, and whilst we have actually had some very good racing, I don't want to come in here and be, a negative Nelly, but there has been some terrible driving, like really bad. What was that from the Ferrari boys on that restart?
I don't know. And the funny part was they're probably together in a VC.
Yep.
Which makes it even worse.
Why would you squeeze that hard going down into T1 on the outside? There's literally no need for it. All you're doing is you're asking for a crash. That was exactly what happened. Absolutely no need for it. Very, very silly. But at least we had fun.
I suppose you could say that. It was entertaining at least. But yeah,
It was something.
Ferrari won't be happy.
No. Well, to be fair, I think strategically, as an idea, what had happened was a really good idea. I mean, you were basically saying it that we were saying that obviously with Longuet with a damaged wing, for him to have basically dropped back into third position on that restart and kind of allowed Istvan Pukian and Barry Burman to check out in the distance. The idea there, genuinely, very, very good. The execution, well, it would be about as good as if me and Nathan tried it, i.e., quite bad.
Yeah, it was. It definitely didn't work out the way they wanted to, and I thought, how can you make contact? You're in the same team, and you misjudge your braking points, and didn't quite end well. And there was round at turn 1. Barry then also came into contact on those old medium tyres against, I think it was Keane or something in the mid pack. There was nothing they could do at all, and hopefully we can have a word though from our top 3 in the race. We'll see if any of them pop in towards the interview room, and we've got Otis in there, so we'll move over to our interview screen, which you can see on our board, and we'll have a quick chat here with Otis Lawrence. Let's just drag him up quickly, and we'll welcome him in to the commentary box in a couple of seconds. Here he is. Otis, only deafened. Hello, Otis.
Hello.
So, that was an interesting race, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can hear my voice has actually gone after I've been shouting a bit. But yeah, I wasn't expecting to win that after the safety car, the unfortunate event. But yeah, I didn't give up. That was the main thing. I'm happy, and yeah, we came away with a win for the final round to put things to bed.
And was it a good shout or a bad shout? That's the question.
To be honest, mate, my head hurts, so now my throat hurts. So I don't know if it was that good, but yeah, I was shouting a lot. And yeah, my throat hurts like crazy at the moment, so yeah.
Well, they went. Obviously, you saw what happened down to turn 1 with the Ferraris. What was your initial thoughts when you saw the 2 teammates kill each other into turn 1?
When I saw those 3 crash, I was like, yeah, I'm going for it. And I think I'm not sure if you seen me make a move into turn 4. I was going for it. I wasn't, because I wasn't very happy at what happened at the start with the safety car. So yeah, I just kind of took the anger to the track and try and get a win out of it.
Yeah, of course. And obviously that crash the crash that caused a safety car, which then caused you to stay out, that was definitely very, it was far from ideal, wasn't it? Obviously being then having to be forced in a position to stay on the hards or to have to pit and drop to the back of the field, it was, I can assume he wasn't happy along with Ishmael Fassi.
No, I was raging a lot on my stream. Because I don't really think the safety car should be in the thing anyway, but yeah, it is what it is. It happens. Again, it's the last race of the season anyway, so yeah, it's been fun at the end of the day. Not too serious again. So yeah, I guess it gives a bit of spice for the fans, but yeah, for a driving standpoint, it's not the best thing. But at the end of the day, we won, so I'm happy with it. Don't mind.
Yeah, I think you did a superb job. Obviously, to finish it off with a win in the final round. Obviously, I don't think we're going to see the next, for this next part of the game. So I think this might be it for WOR Tier 1. But if you come back in F124, of course, I think we all will know we'll come back in F124. You're looking to try and possibly fight for a championship. I know it's a little bit far away, but are you going to still look to hunt for it?
Of course, yeah. I mean, we showed great potential at the start of the season. Obviously, we obviously not the smartest driver in the world, so yeah, things to learn. Of course, but yeah, we had really good potential at the start of the season with the 2 wins back to back, and yeah, it's great to finish off the season coming on to the next one as well. So yeah, big confidence for the next one.
Indeed. So Otis, thanks for joining us, and well done on the win. And we'll speak to you again next time. Have a good one, mate.
Thank you very much. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you, and we'll see you later. Right.
Bye.
We'll move
You're slightly less
ourselves.
attractive than Pinkham, by the way. I'm just going to throw that one out there.
What?
You've chucked Natalie Pinkham on screen as if like everyone joining is going to be like, "Oh my god!" And it's actually no. It's like a Scooby Doo monster. Remove the mask, and it's Nathan Richards.
Well, was there any need for that, Lewis? What did I do to you there? Nothing.
No, nothing. But it was funny though, so it's fine. Well, I'm only here for comedy.
See, it was funny for you. It was funny for the chat, but it wasn't funny for me.
Well, I don't care.
They did nasty dirty in this game. Yeah, good point.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, it is. Cyborg. A really uncanny valley. Pinkham.
There we are. Just have another look at it. There we are. She looks like a robot out of GTA 5.
It really is. No, you know, the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, it's some of the NPCs in that look at that quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Not great.
it's quite poor, and considering they were meant to be better this year, they're not really that much better. But honestly, what a season this has been! It's the finale. We're done here for WR Tier 1 in season 16. And Lewis, well, you did join us for rounds 1 to 15, so it's not. Is it good me asking your thoughts on this season because you only saw one race, which was quite chaotic?
I am not the right person to ask. No, I have enjoyed what I've seen. I have obviously jumped in at various points, mostly to send annoying messages to yourself, Nathan. But no, it's been a fun one. I'm happy to have jumped in for one, had my banter, and also proved that the commentator's curse is total rubbish by predicting the pole position driver and the race winner correctly. Nathan, you have to accept that it's rubbish.
Well, I'll accept that it's rubbish in your case then, but in my case, it's still more than there. It's happened multiple times today, so maybe it's my curse, not the commentator's curse. It's Nathan's curse because it's not just here; it's in every league. It happens.
Nope.
Well, I'm never going to win, am I? Never. But honestly, this season, guys, it's been brilliant. Honestly, to have the viewership every single race pretty much get better every single time. At some point, we've had it double to what it has been before, and to have everyone in the chat as well. To have all the drivers turn up every single week. The attendance this season has been better than it was last season by, in my eyes, quite a margin. So it's been brilliant to see more involvements here this season. There's probably one reason for why the drivers have spent more time here in WR, but we'll leave that one settled to bed, and we'll let you all decide what that reason is. But obviously, I don't think we're here next season, unfortunately. Due to the fact that there's rumours of what could happen soon. But we'll have a little look quickly. Well, no, I was going to say we'll have a look at the season 17 calendar for the other tiers, but I forgot to put it in. So I can't.
Terrible.
So we can't see it, unfortunately, guys. I was literally going to think, and I thought, no, it's not there. So sorry, Luke.
Lack of preparation. We just have to tell everyone to come and join us on Thursday.
Yep.
Or is it Thursday? Wednesday?
No,
I don't know.
Mondays. You're a little bit far off.
No, I'm talking about Ironman League, mate.
Oh, the Ironman League.
It's Thursday.
Yeah, and then the normal tiers are Mondays. They're better than the Ironman League because I used to commentate there, so they're better automatically.
Yeah, but I do commentate on the Ironman League. That's fine.
Yeah, but what are you? You're only a GB3 commentator. You're only a virtual Le Mans commentator. That's it.
I was gonna say, yeah, you be careful about what you say. You be careful, sir.
Indeed, but honestly, guys, yet again, thank you for joining us at all, and we'll be back. Obviously, with the other tiers, Ironman League, of course, with Lewis and whoever turns up. Of course, what George Morgan? What a the attendance from him is poor, isn't it? Poor George.
Is that playing golf?
Oh, is he? Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, thanks to Dan as well, who's been with us every single race. He's streamed every single time. Obviously, glad that he's going to get himself better soon. And, well, hopefully, he gets better soon, of course. And he'll be back for us whenever we're back. We'll have some social races here and there, of course, throughout the wait till F124, which is only a couple months away. But obviously, yeah, make sure to keep an eye on the console, the PC, everything else that is here on the channel. And yet again, a big final thank you for joining us here for WR Season 16 here on the Tier 1 side. And also, congratulations yet again to Jon Altmere, who won the championship back in last week at the track I forgot, which I believe is, no, it's Abu Dhabi. There we are, Abu Dhabi. So thank you yet again, and we'll be back next season with some more action here in WR, so make sure to keep yourself tuned for that. And obviously join the Discord to get everything as soon as possible. So yet again, Lewis, thank you for joining me. Thanks to Dan, thanks to Luke, thanks to everyone in the chat, thanks to the drivers, and we're back again next season. Good night.